Get your West on.
I'm Joe O'Day, and I approve this message.
This message paid for by Joe O'Day for Senate. Joe O'Day, a construction CEO and conservative running for U.S. Senate. O'Day will take the fight to Joe Biden on inflation, the border, and reckless spending. Joe's primary opponent is Representative Ron Hanks. The real Ron Hanks is just another politician. Ron Hanks ran for Congress in California under a different name, Lauren Hanks. In California, Lauren Hanks opposed a constitutional amendment imposing term limits on members of Congress and said state workers should be allowed to unionize. But in Colorado, Hanks changed his mind. Back in California, Lauren Hanks said abortion should be allowed in cases when a medical expert says so. But as a candidate in Colorado, Hanks says he opposes abortion in all cases, even to save a mother's life. Ron Hanks has changed a lot more than just his name. The real Ron Hanks is a politician blowing in the wind. Visit therealronhanks.com to learn more.
If the last couple of years have taught us one thing, it's to value the things we can control. And addressing hair loss is no exception. My friends at Advanced Hair Restoration can reverse years or even decades of hair loss with their simple one-day treatment. Your own natural hair begins to regrow the very next day, and your new hair is backed by the Advanced Hair Guarantee. It works for bald spots, receding hairlines, thinning hair, men and women. Younger, wiser, Advanced Hair can address many patterns of hair loss. Their advanced FUE treatment has changed tens of thousands of lives, people just like you. So set up your free consultation, 720-459-HAIR. Get special financing, 250 free hair grafts, plus $250 off. Value the things you can control and start regrowing your own natural hair today. 720-459-HAIR. Be sure to ask about the Advanced Hair Guarantee and view the before and after pictures right now at advancedhair.com.
This is Dan Kaplis. Ben Franklin said that well done is better than well said. That applies directly to personal injury law. Actions speak louder than words. Talk is cheap. Results matter. At our firm, we've achieved truly historic results, which we'd be proud to share with you. We're a serious firm for serious cases. We take righteous cases on a percentage fee basis. If you need our help with a serious injury or, God forbid, wrongful death case, please give me a call, 303-770-5551, or hit DanCaplisLaw.com. That's DanCaplisLaw.com.
Transform and protect your garage floor with a durable coating that looks great, lasts forever, and is easy to clean. Last year, Tana and I installed a custom coating from Solid Garage Floor Coatings, and it upgraded the look and feel of our garage. The process was easy, from getting my quote to having the install done in just one day. Call for the KNUS special, $200 off when you mention Randy sent you, and estimates are always free. Visit locally owned Solid Garage Floor Coatings at CoatTheRockies.com or 303-219-8440.
News Talk 710, KNUS.
Listen live on Odyssey.
What does Jim Jordan say about the Second Amendment and the mass shootings? That's coming up on News Talk 710 KNUS.
Now, back to Steffan Tubbs. News Talk 710, KNUS.
God, is there a No, there's not. By the way, they recalled the psychotic sourdough bread connected family district attorney, whack job progressive Chesa in San Francisco last night. It wasn't even close. 60-40. Would anybody in Denver and Decay like to, say, start a recall and get her self-proclaimed ass out of there, the progressive district attorney of Denver, Kragatha McCann? Please, someone, start a recall. Thanks. I'll give you all the free pop I can. Back to Lee Keltner. A judge, another decision, and another kick in the you-know-what. To those of us that have followed the Lee Keltner story for damn near, 2 years. So we have our friend of the program, Susan Keltner, Lee's sister, will call us within a little less than 20 minutes. And our final segment this hour will be with Susan Keltner. Join us. And absolutely never want to try to pick favorites because I love you all. Like picking your favorite children. I know a couple of my kids, if you were me, a couple of our listeners, I would put in timeout. But that first call from Rob, or was it Rod? Sorry. I think it was Rod. Terrific call. And thank you, sir, for wearing the uniform, and go hug those grandbabies as soon as you can. But this comes back to kind of circling back on, there's someone who obviously loves his children, loves his grandchildren, was a first responder, sadly was in charge for the first 4 hours as the only uniformed person at Leawood Elementary, which would be the site of some absolutely heartbreaking reunifications and those that never happened at Columbine. So kudos to Rod. Speaking of which, it talks about, well, what about the family? What about male role models? Coming up in studio, we've got one of I feel like there should be a dun, 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 maybe something like this. The dads of Castle Rock. Hooray! One of the dads of Castle Rock, in fact, the vice president, will join us in studio coming up at the top of the hour, just after Blake's news. Let's get to phone calls. Mark in Westminster joins us. Good afternoon to you.
Hey, Steffan.
Hey.
You Navy veteran, heavy listeners.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, no problem whatsoever. Rod completely nailed it. Man was
Didn't he?
right on.
Yep.
To the nth degree. You know, and it's totally not surprising, but it's a prime example of the narrative driving this with the lamestream media.
Mm-hmm.
Have you noticed how, and we've had, 2-3 weeks of disclosures and investigations and just background. I haven't heard one iota of background on the shooter, other than initially said he was being raised by a single grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, to me that's a red flag.
Yep.
And then, but my brother dug behind the lamestream smokescreen and intentionally trying to
obfuscate. I know what you mean.
Yes,
see, listen, as long as I know what you mean, all good.
Yeah, I'm illiterate pig English, pig Latin. But anyway, the fact is there's been plenty of disclosure, chance to disclose this kid's super dysfunctional background. My brother looked into it, dug hard, and he'd go to, really second tier information.
Well, what did he
sources.
find?
This kid. Okay, to begin with, they couldn't come up with anything on where the hell was the original birth mother and father. He did find out that the grandmother had a boyfriend. Not a living grandfather, but a boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And those are just, they're not maybe majors, but in this kid, they did report, I found a little bit about, he did have classmates that said that he threw up some red flags.
Oh, he absolutely did. He did this. Yeah, he was on this is called, I think, Yubo, YUBO. Yeah. I've never even heard of that, but there were absolutely red flags there. How about the reports that he was harming animals, that he would go to parks and he would accuse people of bullying him, but he was the bully. Oh my God. Doesn't that sound familiar in Colorado,
Bingo. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's Harrison Numbnuts. Total MO. That's their, almost a virtual match. But, and part of that is responsibility. The lamestream media and the uber liberal mentality is they want to blame an inanimate object.
Correct.
Whereas they have plenty of people that have seen this kid and knew damn well he was a super dysfunctional.
Absolutely.
And they chose and even that's in Texas where, people are armed. People are cognizant of not babying other than the big cities, the big city mayors, of course.
You. Yeah.
They're all cognizant of not babying the sleazebag criminals, people capable
well,
of
where's
crap.
and you know what? And that's a great call, Mark. Thank you. I got to get to one more, but and thank you again. I was, I'm not trying to blow you off. When you look at the situation in Texas, was there a media outlet? Has there been a media outlet? I don't see it. That has reported, holy shit, there were a lot of red flags. And maybe asking a school counselor, maybe asking now the adults because they're 18 out of high school, Ask some of his classmates. I've heard one interview, and I'm not saying I've heard or seen everything, but yeah, this kid was totally messed up. Where's the angle, though, from to use his point, Mark, and the lamestream media? Where is the new at 6 tonight? How so many things fell through those cliche cracks. This Yubo, Y-U-B-O, or Yubo, there were kids that were reporting this kid. I mean, good God, friends, you know this. You can identify all the red flags you want. If there is not any proactive measure taken from either a school or a counselor or friends that come forward, see something, say something, and then ultimately law enforcement, what else can be done? But again, there are reports of this kid injuring and harming animals. That is like one of the biggest psychology 101 flags there is, isn't it? It's crazy. We'll take a break. Susan Keltner, as there's a new development today in her brother's murder case. It has nothing to do with the man who point blank basically shot and killed Lee Keltner. Nothing to do with Matthew Doloff, but we'll talk with Susan Keltner as we wrap up this hour after the newscast. One more phone call. Let's get to Nick in Denver. Nick joins us, and welcome, brother.
Hello. Is this for me?
That, unless your name is like Fred, because I said Nick.
No, you know my story. I had to quit the school system because it was such a disaster. Here's the bottom line. The school system always had plenty of money to spend on nonsense, but they never seem to have money to spend on things that really count. And when I worked at the Catholic school system, there was one point of entry. You had to identify yourself. You had to look straight in the camera before you even walked in. And that does not take a lot of money.
Oh, but that might make little Johnny or Susie scared.
Oh, well, you know, I know you're trying to be facetious.
No, I am facetious. You know, it's ridiculous.
Story. They always have plenty of money to spend on nonsense, but they never have any money to spend on real things.
Well, amen to that.
And to increase the security at the schools would take very little to increase it by 100%.
Right.
Very little.
Nick, I got to run. I got to thank you for that call. I've got to get to a break because we've got a guest coming up, Lee Keltner's sister, Susan, straight ahead. I will tell you as we kind of close this right now, at least. Remember, well, what Nick just said is true. This would not take a lot of extra money. Seriously, even if you put 2 armed off-duty cops, or again, just bolster your DPS, for example. Just have veterans come back that have training and they can do medical. They can kill the bad guy. But they don't even want right now our Denver police officers on campuses because some little Johnnies and Susies may feel like their school is unsafe. I don't blame a child, a 5th grader, a 3rd grader, not quite understanding. Wait a minute, honey, I mean, if my son or grandchildren, I don't want for a long time, but if I had grandkids, no. Officer Fred is awesome. He's there to protect you from all those bad guys, and I hear he's even going to have lunch with you tomorrow. It's the adults. It's not the children's fault. I mean, imagine the difference between, oh, you're going to have lunch with Officer Bill tomorrow, or, oh my goodness, I got a memo. I got an email, Johnny, that says Officer Bill's going to be with you. You know he carries a gun, right? He's probably shot people. You see, there's kind of a two-way street there. You can take one route, it's a fork in the road. It's not the kid's fault, it's the adult's fault. And by the way, when you get to high school, and could you imagine, you personally, as we go to the break, I got to shut up. Could you imagine going like to the office? Remember, it's always the office. Could you imagine going and, hi, what's your name? I haven't seen you around campus. Well, I just transferred in. My name is Billy. No, I shouldn't use Billy because that's too close to the station. My name is Freddie, and I just want you to know that I left my other school because I felt danger in having an armed officer, and I want to file with you, Mr. Krabappel. I want to file a formal complaint. I'm scared to see that armed man and that badge on my campus. Could you imagine being that student? So high school students, y'all are idiots if you feel that way. But other than that, these little kids, you think they're the ones going, I'm scared of Officer John. No. Coming up after the break, I will give you yet another reason to despise 9 News parent company Tegna, and 9 News if you want as well. First, simple storage, clean quality construction, and a practical home upgrade. It's Roll 'em Out Shelves. For nearly 2 decades, the mom and son team of Joyce and Brent have operated this Colorado small business. In fact, if you go with them, which I sure think you should, their sturdy Baltic birch shelves are built right here in Colorado at their Brighton facility to your specific measurements, and they're guaranteed for life. They can put them in your kitchen like they did for me earlier this year, into a pantry, bathroom, laundry room, basement, garage, or all of the above. They do free in-home estimates, and again, you'll get clean quality construction. You can consider it almost a mini home upgrade, and nothing feels better than maybe getting a little more organized and certainly to declutter. Maximize your space. Don't wait. Check them out online, rollemoutshelves.com. See pictures and video. Again, rollemoutshelves.com, or tell them Steffan sent you, 303-475-9601. That's 303-475-9601. And tell them Steffan sent you. Susan Keltner, Lee's sister, coming up next.
News Talk 710. Update.
81 degrees and sunny outside as we head for a high of 82 on this Wednesday. House lawmakers will be voting on a sweeping gun package today. The Democratic legislation includes raising the minimum age to buy some types of firearms while banning high-capacity ammunition magazines. Ohio Republican Jim Jordan called deadly mass shootings as wrong can be, but argued the answer is not to destroy the Second Amendment. This report is sponsored by Dell Technologies. To do more with a Latitude laptop and provide innovators with the tools to succeed, Dell Technologies recommends Windows 11 Pro for business. For advice and expertise, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL. A report says the National Guard will be deployed in and around Washington, D.C. soon to deal with potential violence surrounding the Roe v. Wade abortion case. Fox News reports troops will be out in force as the U.S. Supreme Court appears likely to overturn Roe. Walmart heir Rob Walton has won the bid to acquire the Denver Broncos. The team announced that Walton, his daughter Carrie Walton Penner, and her husband Greg Penner have entered into a sales agreement. The deal reportedly has a price tag of $4.65 billion. On Wall Street at the closing bell, the Dow fell by 269 points to 32,910. The S&P dropped nearly 45 points to 4115, while the Nasdaq lost almost 89 points to 1286. Don't forget, wake up with the George Brockler Show tomorrow morning at 6, only on News Talk 710 KNUS. Steffan continues in a few minutes. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
No crashes, no problems. Throwing up the highways, we're in great shape. Starting to get a little busier out here. Trying to get up into downtown. Northbound I-25, that's a 20-minute drive. University to Colfax. Now the Tech Center in great shape. Drive on C470 looks good. In or out of Highlands Ranch, no delay. Speeds up on the high side. 270 starting to get crowded there, both directions in the Commerce City Drive and the I-70 corridor. A little busy through that construction. Looking good if you headed out to DIA. Highway 36, 225, checking clear. I'm Susan Phelan.
This report is sponsored by Compassion International.
The 710 5-day forecast, partly to mostly cloudy skies this afternoon. Temperatures will be very comfortable, about 80 or so. Lows tonight down into the low to mid-50s. Warming to the upper 80s tomorrow, an isolated late-day thunderstorm. Upper 80s and sunny Friday, 80s and low 90s Saturday and Sunday with isolated thunderstorms. Weather brought to you by Colorado Flat Fee Realty, now with a 2% option. Pay less, keep more. ColoradoFlatFeeRealty.com. Meteorologist Dante, 710 KNUS.
This is Carol Platt-Liebau for townhall.com. In the days since the Uvalde shooting, we've learned a lot about the conduct of the police in that horrific incident. None of it good. Officers apparently let a murderer stay inside a classroom for over an hour as children called for help. And as the shooter rampaged unimpeded inside the school, federal marshals actually handcuffed a Uvalde mother for trying to get her child out. Another man was tased for trying to get his child off a school bus. And yet another man who wanted to enter the school has reported that an officer ordered him to stay back and shut up. These events highlight what seems to be a growing trend in government's interactions with its citizens. All of a sudden, government seems all too willing to bully the largely law-abiding but looks on passively as actual criminals commit real acts of evil. It's a morally perverse trend that needs to stop. Now.
The Pepperdine Graduate School of Public Policy for those considering careers in politics and policy.
You know, a lot of times you have to choose between something high quality or something that saves you money. But if you can get both, why not? Especially when it comes to health care. And that's MediShare. You get both. The typical family saves $500 a month switching to MediShare. And that's huge. But it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. It's because MediShare works. It's been around for more than a quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge PPO network. So, yeah, really, you could save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. If you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. Here is the number you need. Call 866-88-BIBLE. That's 866-88-BIBLE. 866-88-BIBLE.
This is State Representative Ron Hanks running for U.S. Senate. Everyone deserves a birthday. I am pro-life, my opponent is not, period. Inflation destroys family budgets. Restoring American energy stops inflation. It's time to choose. I'm a 32-year military vet. Stand with me. I'm Ron Hanks. I approve this message.
News Talk 710, KNUS.
Listen live on Odyssey.
Now, back to Steffan Tubbs. News Talk 710, KNUS.
Dads of Castle Rock. Dads, where are you? Time to freaking step up. Oh, you say you are? Step up even more. I can say that because I'm a dad. So Dads of Castle Rock coming up just after the news at the top of the hour. We don't have a lot of time, unfortunately, but if you have not heard, well, yesterday, Denver District Court judge overturns the city of Denver's decision. Remember, it was like adios Pinkerton. If there was one thing, the private security guard, remember, was employed through another contracted to Pinkerton. Pinkerton was out because Matthew Doloff, the killer of Lee Keltner, was an unlicensed security guard. However, thank you, Judge David H. Goldberg. He recently, just yesterday, ruled that the license revocation, in essence, should be overturned because the Department of Excise and Licenses didn't use correct terms. How maddening, and it's no more maddening for anyone else than our friend of the program, Susan Keltner, Lee's sister. And Susan, thank you as always for the time. How did you find out? And it seems like every single time I have you on, it's like, how did you find out this? And, what's your reaction? So thank you, friend.
Thank you for having me. I was emailed this morning, actually messaged by one of the last people that spoke with Lee before he was murdered. And he's in Florida, and found out and asked me, what the heck? And I basically opened it up and I started to read it, and I had to put it away. Exactly almost 1 year ago today, I had found out that Pinkerton's license was revoked. Almost to the day.
Yeah. It was in early July 2021. Yeah.
And you would think that we would have a say, but because my brother is dead, we don't have nothing to say. But remember, he's not a victim either. So
yeah, this is amazing. Yeah, I'm going to read from a Channel 7 story. One part of the reason why Pinkerton's going to get its license back, I'll read this. One part tied to suspension of licenses refers to his or her while another part of the code defines gender as using the masculine, females as well as males, firms, associations, and corporate organizations, as well as individuals, meaning that his would cover all of those people or organizations. This is asinine. The Channel 7 story goes on. Pinkerton had argued since the Department of Excise and Licenses had used the his or her language, the decision applied only to natural persons and not a company. I mean, I cannot imagine how we're getting down to pronouns now. Come on.
It's hurtful. I had to literally not post it on my Facebook page.
Yeah.
And was able to finish what I was doing today and call my mom face to face.
How's she doing?
You know, I could talk to her, I can tell her, and she listens to me. It's what she's feeling now that I don't know. Obviously, 1,000 miles, I can't be with her and talk to her face to face. And, you know, I'm sure after an hour of it setting, she's probably pretty upset.
Yeah.
You know, as to the rest of the family that I've spoke to so far. You know.
Yeah. We don't forget your brother on this program and on this station, obviously, but is there anything, since we last had you on probably within the last couple of months, is there anything as we head toward the top of the hour, anything new is there anything you guys can do?
It doesn't look like it. His wife pretty much sold him under the bus, so I think that pretty much nailed the head of the coffin and left us with nothing left.
Yeah, and just a reminder that the last time you were on with us was the I guess to me, shocking announcement that there had been a settlement between Tegna and Channel 9 and Lee's wife, and I'll never forget, you said, and she promptly went out and bought 2 new vehicles.
Right. And then some of these articles, you look at it, too, and they say that 9 News is claiming no responsibility, but they paid out.
Isn't that sick how that works? Susan Keltner, our friend of the program, I love you, and I'm there for you and the family. I've got to run to the top of the hour, but thank you, and we'll try to talk a little bit more later on in the program about this. Again, it comes down to a part of it, pronouns. Simply unbelievable. I said a few moments ago, Dad's time to step up. Maybe you need a little bit of inspiration. Well, one of the dads of Castle Rock joins us in studio coming up next, and maybe it'll inspire you. If you don't do much as a dad, you know who knows first and foremost?
Hey everybody, Mike Bowl, host of the Restaurant Shows. Have you heard about Joyce's Famous Pizza, 2120 South Broadway at Evans? She was robbed recently. Broke in, busted up her doors, busted up some of her equipment, took the money. And you know what? This is one of the nicest people you will ever meet, a small independent businesswoman. I called her up and I said, you know what? I'm going to broadcast there this Saturday from 3 o'clock until 5 o'clock. We're going to have an unbelievable special, and it'll help her get back on her feet. Check it out on my website at mikeboyle.com. But I'll see you this Saturday for the Restaurant Show at Joyce's Famous Pizza.
So many people here are getting real lasting joint pain relief from QC Kinetics.
QC Kinetics has changed my life. I would recommend QC to anybody. The work that QC Kinetics did paid off exponentially.
It brought me back to an effective age of almost in my 20s and 30s.
QC Kinetics uses cutting-edge regenerative medicine, natural biologics from your own body, precision treatments that can restore and repair damaged tissue in your aching joints, with no meds, no steroids, no drugs, and no downtime.
I got a very quick resolution to my pain.
It is a all-natural therapy. You're using you to fix you.
I got my life back. I got my smile back. And best of all, I got my laugh back.
Don't live with that pain anymore. And don't let them tell you surgery is your only option. Learn more about regenerative options from the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics. Call now for your free consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 303-900-8986. That's 303-900-8986. 303-900-8986.
I'm Joe O'Day, and I approve this message.
This message paid for by Joe O'Day for Senate. Joe O'Day, a construction CEO and conservative running for U.S. Senate. O'Day will take the fight to Joe Biden on inflation, the border, and reckless spending. Joe's primary opponent is Representative Ron Hanks. The real Ron Hanks is just another politician. Ron Hanks ran for Congress in California under a different name, Lauren Hanks. In California, Lauren Hanks opposed a constitutional amendment imposing term limits on members of Congress and said state workers should be allowed to unionize. But in Colorado, Hanks changed his mind. Back in California, Lauren Hanks said abortion should be allowed in cases when a medical expert says so. But as a candidate in Colorado, Hanks says he opposes abortion in all cases, even to save a mother's life. Ron Hanks has changed a lot more than just his name. The real Ron Hanks is a politician blowing in the wind. Visit therealronhanks.com to learn more.
Fact: our bodies are under attack every day. Whether it's COVID, vaccines, the air we breathe, the water we drink, and even the food we eat, we are constantly trying to keep up with the Colorado weather, fighting off stress and inflammation. But there's a solution. C60 Complete. C60 Complete is a scientist-formulated, doctor-approved antioxidant supplement that helps you achieve a longer, healthier, and happier life. Do what I'm doing to improve my health and go to purebellavita.com. That's purebellavita.com to get your monthly supply today.
KNUS Denver, a Salem Media Group station.
Hi, this is George Brockler. Join me weekday mornings from 6 to 10 a.m. only on News Talk 710, KNUS Denver's local talk leader.
Beautiful day, and it's a good drive so far. No crashes or problems along the highway drive. Definitely getting heavier out here. I-25 loading up into downtown. 270 dealing with some stop-and-go traffic. Getting heavier along the I-70 drive. Now we have a stall eastbound Hamden approaching Federal. I'm Susan Phelan.
This report is sponsored by Compassion International.
Earthquakes, hurricanes, and COVID have devastated Haiti, especially for the children. Help rebuild Haiti with Compassion International. Just text the word radio to 97646.
Denver's local talk leader. News Talk 710 KNUS. The news now.
It's 82 degrees, and that's expected to be our high today. The 710 5-day forecast is coming up at 4 o'clock. The House is nearing a vote on a package of gun safety measures. Speaker Nancy Pelosi called America's children precious and said they should be able to go to school without fear.
We're seeing a surge in young people committing violence, like these school shooters. I think that's going to be one of the biggest issues.
Obviously, that was not Pelosi. The California Democrat talked about the recent deadly mass shootings at the elementary school in Uvalde, Texas. This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Stores are a new world of possible with innovative tools for small business and remote workers and learners. Explore more at your local Staples store or staplesconnect.com. On Wall Street today, at the closing bell, the Dow fell by 269 points to 32,910. The S&P dropped by nearly 45 points to 4115, while the Nasdaq lost almost 89 points to 1286. Hey, don't forget to wake up with George Brockler on the George Brockler Show tomorrow morning and every weekday morning from 6 to 10, only on News Talk 710 KNUS. Steffan Tubbs Show continues. Stay with us in a few minutes. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
Now, back to Steffan Tubbs, News Talk 710, KNUS.
Troy at the controls, Blake in the newsroom. It is Wednesday, the 8th of June. For the second straight day, it'll be 3 straight days. No, it'll be 4. Because tomorrow it'll be all about getting ready for the big primetime January 6th commission event. They've actually literally hired an ABC News former executive producer, somebody in management, to produce the January 6th commission hearings in, well, forgive me, prime time tomorrow night. So yesterday was about Matthew McConaughey. Again, I say it's very easy to sit back on the sidelines and throw your darts. We want solutions, not just criticism of people who are actually speaking out. And I am not a Matthew McConaughey fan, or I don't dislike him either. It's just, to me, that's fact. Today, also coming out of D.C., so day 2, testimony at sadly, a hearing that I feel will not matter. And that is a hearing from the survivors, some doctors, parents of victims of both Buffalo and Uvalde, Texas. So that's day 2 today. Day 3 tomorrow will probably be a preview day. And then, of course, on Friday, we'll have whatever happens in primetime tomorrow night. We'll recap that on Friday. So basically 4 days of this week, of the 5 that we are on with you, will be stories coming out of Washington, D.C., which is why, being live and local, I love to talk about groups and people, and you know how I feel about our veterans, et cetera. But this hour, I want to talk about, well, maybe it's going to be a little, by the time the hour is up, a little shame and guilt. But maybe that'll be okay if we can shame and guilt a couple of you dads out there too. How can I say, stop the bull, stop hating your ex, and be a better dad? I don't know if that's too bold. We've got in studio with us one of the founding members of the group Dads of Castle Rock. His name is Brad Langeriak. No, Langerack. Is that right, Brad? I got to get your microphone on there.
There you go. Yeah.
Langerack.
Much better.
Stephen Tubes, nice to meet you. You're vice president of Dads of Castle Rock. I got so many questions. We were kind of sitting here in silence, and I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, I'm not trying to be rude, but why ask you, the same 5 questions, exactly. In the last 2 minutes before. So thank you. Obviously, happy Father's Day coming up later on this month.
You as well.
How many kids? Thank you.
I have 3. Yep, 3 altogether. I've got a 26-year-old son, and then I have 14 and 16-year-old daughters. That's why I look so old.
You don't look old, but you know who you look like? Have you ever been told you look like Trevor Hoffman?
I have not.
He's in the Hall of Fame, you know.
That's right.
Now, if you had like a change up like him, you probably wouldn't be sitting here with me.
That's right.
Tell me about Dads of Castle Rock, and congratulations on this 501c3 that you formed. What, in 2019?
Yes. Yep. End of 2019. So it kind of started as almost a joke. There's actually a Moms of Castle Rock in Colorado, or down there in Castle Rock, and so a couple of gentlemen were sitting around. I wasn't one of them in the very beginning, and talking about the Moms of Castle Rock. It's like, we should form a Dads of Castle Rock. So it kind of started off that way, again, almost like as a joke. So it formed middle about 2019, around May, June. And it just started building from there. I got on within a month or two because one of the 2 that were sitting around again, come up with this idea, called me, let me know, hey, you got to get on this thing. So
was it one of those you couldn't say no?
I couldn't say no.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I liked the joke behind it because I've heard stories about the Moms of Castle Rock group, and it was
even
I
have.
So it was jump on, and just kind of started with a page with just memes, sending out dad jokes and joking around stuff like that, and then we started seeing some needs in the community to take that step farther. So we actually had a fundraiser that we were doing before we were 501c3 to help a couple individuals in the community, and so 6 of us were all kind of sitting around a picnic table, and we're like, let's take this a step farther. Let's form a 501c3. So it was actually November 11th of 2019. Myself and one other gentleman submitted all of our paperwork to actually officially become a 501c3.
And then just months later, the pandemic hits.
Exactly. But, our town, we were a joke at first. I mean, we are. We're a bunch of idiot dads that we don't know what we're doing.
Aren't we all? Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, people thought we were a joke. Even guys within our within Dads of Castle Rock are like, what are you guys doing? Because we're meeting like every weekend to try to figure out what we can do and how to get this thing started.
Wait a minute. You say you're meeting every weekend. All I see is a couple of guys coming. I mean, I know this is cliche. I'm a dad too, so I'm throwing myself under the bus. You're looking at a lawnmower. Got to fix it. And maybe there was a couple of suds. I don't know. But
okay, truth be told,
yes, please.
We were meeting at a tap house.
Oh, well, you know what? It's better than McDonald's because why? McDonald's doesn't serve any adult beverages.
Exactly.
So you're meeting at the tap house, and is it starting to? I mean, even though Castle Rock, which I love, by the way, but look, it's not that big. But even in Castle Rock, are you seeing maybe as things get a little more serious that wait, dads of Castle Rock, there are maybe kids even in your own backyard that really don't have that male role model.
Exactly. Yeah. It really started to evolve, and honestly, a large part of our success is that community. I mean, the community of Castle Rock's outstanding. So, like you said, pandemic hit, 2020, our first year, first quarter plus, they thought we were a joke. They
well, you didn't help yourself with the memes.
Exactly. Oh, yeah, that's true. Very true. So, but we started evolving. We started just ignoring all that and started helping the community. And we started doing fundraisers, and we started adopting people in need. And all of a sudden, next thing you know, people started taking us serious. In our first year, 2020, we raised over $100,000.
Good for you guys.
Every penny of it went right back into our community. So nothing comes into our organization whatsoever.
No administrative.
No, I mean just the typical corporate
stuff.
Type stuff for the 501c3. But yeah, we use some funds to buy merch, and then we turn around and sell the merch, and then take any proceeds we get that.
It's a cool hat, by the way.
Right back into
Very cool. You're on YouTube. You can wave and say,
where
can people buy?
Right there.
Yeah, where can people buy that lid?
So you go on to our community outreach page, or you can find us on the Facebook. So we do have a website, Dad's Castle Rock Community Outreach website that you can go on there. You can order it directly off from that.
Cool. We'll talk more. I'll give you more plugs to pitch the
great.
Merchandise. His name is Brad Langerak, and he is the vice president. That's your title right now?
I am, yes.
The VP of Dads of Castle Rock. They're getting a website put together, but you can find them on their Facebook page as well. And I saw you've already got thousands of people that are kind of interested or whatever. If you and I met in an elevator and I said, hey, how you doing? Oh, what's your hat? What's your elevator speech for what you guys, not how you started, but maybe where you are and where you want to go?
Yeah. Well, obviously the first thing is Dad's of Castle Rock. And then you get into that we are a community group supporting our local community. So group of dads supporting local community.
And it's not, and it sounds like, Brad, it's not specifically Dads of Castle Rock is in business, so to speak, as a nonprofit to make sure there's no school violence. That it sounds like it's a wide variety of things, which, let's face it, there are a wide variety of areas without dads that, to me and you, should be there.
Exactly, yeah, and that's what we're trying to do. So as we're continuing to evolve, we're doing things like the life skills workshops. So we started doing those. So we teach kids how to change a tire, change oil. So we've done automotive. We've done, how to act in the community, how to, etiquette.
Carry
so we've done
yourself
etiquette, etiquette, financial classes. So we've done a lot of classes for kids. And the same thing, we do have a lot of single parents out there that some don't have that male role model. So we're trying to step up and help that. But yeah, we're not just doing that. We're, again, all across the whole community. We've had things that transpired downtown Castle Rock that we've been asked by the community would go and make a presence downtown to make sure that nothing bad happened.
Like literally walking
around and making our presence known to somebody that may want to be in there to disrupt, whether it's a presentation,
so you may be
protest or whatever.
So you may be, and are you easily identifiable with a T-shirt? Or?
We all wear a merch. Yeah, if we're doing that kind of stuff, we wear a merch.
So it's basically proactive steps to say, "Yo, we're here," and I mean, hell hath no fury, like a mother. The mama bear, but I'm telling you what, we need a Papa Bear fits.
Exactly.
So would you guys, just as an example, and I don't want to say that you haven't been there or you have because I don't know, but like the outlets.
Yep.
So you'd be there just.
Yeah, I mean, again, if there's word on the street that something's going on, obviously we're not the police. Right. We don't want to be the police. We don't want to be.
You
security.
could be in some cases worse for the kids.
Yeah, but we work in close conjunction with CRPD, who's been just absolutely amazing. We work with them not only for fundraising. We have a benevolence program. We actually have some of CRPD through our vetting process for benevolence to make sure that we're helping the right people. And so obviously if we have any issues, we bring them in first and foremost. But if we've got kids hanging around the mall doing different stuff, activities or whatever, if we need to be there to just kind of oversee, make sure everything goes okay, we'll do that. But again, I mean, it's evolved through anything for the community.
It sounds like it still is.
Yeah, it is, most definitely. I mean, we started doing restaurant takeovers. Again, trying to promote local businesses. And so we hand select a restaurant every single month. So if you're a restaurant owner in Castle Rock, reach out to one of us and say, hey, I'd love to be one of those guys, because we come in with a flood of people, and it's we bring your families. So we put it out there on our Dads of Castle Rock Facebook page, our Dads of Castle Rock community outreach page, and we make it known, hey, we're going to go hit this restaurant. This is our month. They give discounts. Sometimes they donate back to us as well. And we do a big takeover event at their restaurant to let them make sure that their name's out there.
You can find out more information on their Facebook page, Dads of Castle Rock. How come there's not a Dads of Thornton, Dads of Lakewood, Dads? Maybe there is, but you know what? This is something, and I want to talk about later in the hour with you as to replication, perhaps, because I think you guys are onto something, even if it started with like stupid dad jokes.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty cool. Are you guys aware, there were probably, I know it was earlier this year, maybe late last year, there was a national story that came on our radar here, this group of dads from Louisiana called Dads on Duty. Now, they seemingly are a little bit maybe more focused, I don't know, than you guys, but isn't it nice to see as a dad? Like I came from, look, I have a terrible relationship, non-existent with my father. I was raised by a single mother. Finding a role model, male role model, was far and few between. But I mean, this is an issue that needs to be addressed like yesterday.
Absolutely. In many capacities, So Dads on Duty, absolutely. We've seen them. We're fully aware of pretty much every dad group that's out there. We are basically creating a franchise. We're actually called it Dads of Outreach and Fellowship. So we are looking of adding more chapters. There is actually a Dads of Parker now, Dads of Elbert County, Dads of Tri-Lake. We have one of our dads that moved to Long Island City, New York. He formed a Dads of Long Island City, New York. Yeah. So we are looking out of Castle Rock to do the same thing and help others duplicate what we're doing in other areas as well.
Do you guys maybe have a plan on, how about Dads of Denver? Or how about this? How about Dads of Aurora?
There you go.
We would certainly use a group like yours.
We did start a Dads of Colorado. So all your listeners, doesn't matter where you're at, if you're in Colorado and you're a dad, look up Dads of Colorado. You can get on right there. So we're using that actually as a platform to promote other locations around Colorado to find the next Dads of. So we're looking for, obviously, how many members we have in Aurora, and then find the more outspoken people, the people that are involved, that might be one that can lead this. Because I tell you what, there's 15 of us that run this down in Castle Rock, and it takes every single one of us to do this. Yeah, and it's because we're all family men first. Family comes first. Our job. And then we volunteer to get this organization and keep this thing on the ground. And we all have our own roles that we do. But I tell you what, man, if it wasn't for the other 14 guys, there's no way we'd be doing the things that we're doing.
You know what I was going to say? I'll go out on my plank and say, but forget it. I don't need a plank. I don't need anything. I'm definitely, I live in Centennial. Let's talk.
Yep.
Why not, right?
Absolutely.
And we could just have our meetings at the tap house.
We actually do hold, so unfortunately the tap house isn't there anymore, but really kind of our
the view house up here.
View house is a good one. We actually are at a brewery now, so we have a brewery that we're very good friends with the owners. One of the owners is actually in Dads of Castle Rock, and he's like, you know what, here's a key, come on in, do your meetings here. They have our flag. We have flags, Dads of Castle Rock flags. He's got it hanging on the wall.
Are you surprised that, I guess, multiple part question, or two parts at least. Are you surprised that this has been already, people are like, okay, cool. It's kind of like, I know you can lead a horse to water, you can't make it drink, but it's like now people are seemingly wanting to be a part of it. And I guess before that, though, are you surprised that there's the need? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. A lot of us are very blind to what's around us, what's going on in our community, what's needed in our community. I'll be honest with you, I was one of those. I had no idea the enormous need, even in Castle Rock, which is, tends to be kind of an upper middle class community.
But you're growing.
And it's growing like crazy. I didn't realize what a desperate need there was in that community with all the different little things that we do and how much we get involved. Again, we have a benevolence request that you can send in. We do up to $2,500 a year per request. We have an application process. We have a vetting committee that goes through, including the local police, and the number of requests that come in is crazy. To the point
and would, for you guys right there, for the people that are requesting, would you have to have a Castle Rock address for that, or is that?
So that's one thing that, it's hard with us because it is written in our bylaws that we were
the community
fed by. Our coffers are fed by the community. So we need to support our community. So we have had a couple requests that tugged our heart hard enough that we kind of just hit our group. And so I'll quick touch on that. We have over 2,000 members in Dads of Castle Rock. And again, you have to be a dad, and you got to be in Castle Rock, live or work in Castle Rock in order to be part of Dads of Castle Rock. We've had it before that, okay, it's outside our community, but it's one of these things that, man, it just hits us hard. So we can't do it through the 501. So we'll just throw it on the page. Hey, guys, send in, here's our Venmo, send in Venmo, tag it with this hashtag. We're going to try to help this person who's not here in Castle Rock, but we're going to help them anyways. And it's unreal, just our 2,000 members of Dads of Castle Rock, how fast they can put together $5,000. I mean, we've had it within an hour or two.
Wow.
We'll get $5,000 that we can go help. I mean, every time we do that, we have to tell them, stop. Okay, all right, we hit our cap, we're good. On to the next one. So there are times that, yes, we'll hit. I actually got a call today from a gentleman, part of our group, that he has a friend in Colorado Springs who went through a really nasty divorce, and he has to have a home for his kids, fully furnished, so he can have his kids.
Per a court order?
Per court order. And unfortunately, it was a bad divorce, so, lawyers won. So at the end, he needs to have a furnished home. When he got the home, he just can't afford a furnishing. So he's like, man, is it cool if I just put that on the page? I'm like, absolutely. Put it on the page saying, hey, what do you have sitting around their house? So, again, it's not something that's going to go through the 501c3.
I see, yeah.
But it's going through the page.
Yeah.
We're still helping people outside the community.
And what was the end result for that guy?
I literally talked to him an hour before I got on the air. So I don't know.
It's in process.
It's in process. So he's supposed to text me, let me know. I'm going to actually share it on the community outreach page as well. So we open it up to not just guys, it's open to the entire community, because the community outreach Facebook page is open to everybody, because we post all of our events there and everything. So we've got a blood drive coming up, and we've got golf tournament coming up and all that kind of stuff. So we'll put that on the community outreach page so more people can actually see.
We got to get you, whoever is in charge of your IT, fellow dad to dad, get that crap up.
Yep.
Get it up, because I can guarantee you right now, but I'm not on Facebook. I can hear some of our listeners.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be back with Brad coming up. He's with us for the hour. And when we come back, I want to play a couple of sound bites today from the Capitol Hill hearing. I'm not going to get political with Brad. He can certainly go there if he wants. But when it comes to, the murderer just out of Uvalde, Texas, what kind, you tell me, how come we haven't heard about his dad? Probably because that individual is non-existent in that murderer's life. How about the parents of the Buffalo madman murderer? I'm not going to say every single time you can look and say, no dad, but you know what? I bet you 9 times out of 10 you could. We're back with Brad Langerak. He is the vice president of Dads of Castle Rock. By the end of this hour, wherever you live, you better start thinking, dads, of, wait a minute, Dads of Palmer Lake, or you said Tri Lake. How about Dads of Bailey? How's that? There you go. We'll take a break. Brad's with us. Stay with us, 710 KNUS.
Highways are getting heavier for the drive out here. We got one trouble spot, I-25. It's a crash on northbound I-25 just before Lincoln Broadway, blocking the 2 left lanes. I got fire crews on scene. Left lanes are blocked northbound I-25 before Broadway, jams toward University. I'm Susan Phelan.
This report is sponsored by Wendy's Breakfast Baconator. Do breakfast better. Wake up to oven-baked bacon and savory sausage in a Breakfast Baconator. Start looking forward to tomorrow morning at participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours only.
Mark Levin sees a laundry list.
Supreme Court justices, oil companies, baby formula companies, the NRA, the Second Amendment, free speech, the First Amendment. drug companies, the white dominant culture. I'm sitting here right before I come on making a list of targets of people and institutions that are under attack depending on what the issue is and depending on what the day is.
Mark Levin, weeknights at 7 on News Talk 710 KNUS.
Hey, Mike, what are you doing way up on that ladder? You're going to hurt yourself.
Oh, I'm trying to unclog these gutters.
That's smart. I had water damage from my gutters last year. It cost me $10,000.
Wait, $10,000?
Yeah, and from over here, it looks like water's been pouring over your clogged gutters, and it's probably doing real damage to your foundation. You need to do what I did. Get off the ladder and call Leaf Filter.
Yeah, but I need to get these gutters flowing now.
That's why you need to call Leaf Filter. They'll clean and realign your gutters and install their exclusive micro mesh screen system so nothing gets in your gutters except water.
So Leaf Filter protects my house from damage and means no more gutter cleaning for me?
Bingo! Plus, Leaf Filter has an industry-leading lifetime warranty, so your gutters are covered for life.
Thanks, Frank. I'm calling Leaf Filter today.
Don't go another day with your home unprotected. Call 1-844-300-LEAF or go to tryleaffilter.com for your free gutter inspection. Call 1-844-300-LEAF or go to tryleaffilter.com right now for an extra 15% savings. Call 1-844-300-LEAF or go to tryleaffilter.com. That's 1-844-300-LEAF.
There's still time for business owners to claim their federal aid under the Employee Retention Tax Credit Program. Cash refunds of up to $26,000 per employee are available for employers who continue to pay their employees during the COVID epidemic. Many businesses qualify and simply do not know it. All business types and industries may qualify. You can claim the credit even if you received a PPP loan. This is a cash payment and not a loan and can be claimed now. The licensed CPAs and tax professionals at Ferguson, Timar & Associates have been serving business owners across the country for over 15 years. The best part is that until you receive your cash payment, you don't pay us a dime. Our tax credit specialists are available now at 833-ERC-FILE, and your tax payment estimate is quick, easy, and free. That's 833-ERC-FILE to qualify you and your business for up to $26,000 per employee of free federal aid. Call us now at 833-ERC-FILE. That's 833-ERC-FILE.
A politician once said, "Death and taxes may be inevitable, but they shouldn't be related." Our nation's debt is over $30 trillion and counting, and the current tax rates are some of the lowest in history. It doesn't take a wizard to see that a potential tax avalanche could be coming. For those nearing or in retirement, doesn't it make sense to have a tax strategy in place now before taxes take a bite out of your monthly income? Call Stuart Willis and Alpha One Tax and Retirement Services, 800-221-4880, 800-221-4880.
This is State Representative Ron Hanks running for U.S. Senate. Everyone deserves a birthday. I am pro-life, my opponent is not, period. Inflation destroys family budgets. Restoring American energy stops inflation. It's time to choose. I'm a 32-year military vet. Stand with me. I'm Ron Hanks. I approve this message.
News Talk 710 KNUS.
Listen live on Odyssey.
Florida Governor Ron DeSantis makes it clear. That's coming up on News Talk 710 KNUS.
Now, back to Steffan Tubbs. News Talk 710 KNUS.
Dads of Castle Rock, Brad Langerak, he joins us here in studio. And by chance, if you've never listened to this program before, but because of Brad's posting on the Dads of Castle Rock page, thank you, brother, by the way,
absolutely.
for that. Welcome to you, and kudos to every one of you that are involved. We are not trying to be sexist. We are not trying. I haven't got one yet.
Well, you keep talking about the dads of Castle Rock. What about the moms of Castle Rock?
We love you moms of Castle Rock, but that's not what we're talking about. Have you gotten that? Anything like that?
We do, yeah. We've had women try to join. So
what's
actually,
wrong?
yeah, we've
Wait,
had,
is this like a He-Man Woman Haters Club?
It's not quite there. No. We're supporting each other, but we do actually have a rule because you have seen the pages or the people that have the joint accounts, not allowed.
Oh.
Sorry. What happens in dads stays in dads.
Yeah, listen, Brad, that's a sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, we share our page. Let me ask you. I asked you off the air. I think it's actually a fair question, and I so understand your answer. But for our audience, are you guys political?
Not whatsoever. So that's something we have to separate ourselves from, because again, we're for the entire community. We don't want any political affiliation whatsoever. So we want to keep that. And we have the race coming up in November. We've had a number of politicians that reached out to us.
I bet. Can we have your endorsement?
Can we have your endorsement? Yeah, I actually had just one for a bill that's coming up. So I just had somebody reach out to me that's pushing that. And it's just like, I want to sit down. I want to sit down with the whole board exec group, and I want to see if I get your buy-in and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, look, I'll sit down with you, and I'll listen to what you have to say, but we're not going to support it. We're not going to back it.
And that doesn't necessarily mean you wouldn't.
Exactly. On a personal level, I can do whatever I want. All
Sure.
of us can,
Yeah.
But as an organization, we have to separate ourselves from anything political, because again, we want to help everybody. As long as you're in Castle Rock, we want to help everybody we can.
Yeah. I want to, again, friends, when they come up with, we'll have Brad on hopefully again and continue to talk about that. You can consider, even though I'm not asking for your endorsement, we can be kind of like the official radio station of Dads of Castle Rock, because we're going to get these things in more metro cities. But
absolutely,
I want to play for you coming up this Capitol Hill hearing, and it's not going to be political. It's going to be from parents that are the parents of victims of these mass killings. But before we do that, I want to ask about there's no sugarcoating it. How come, in your opinion, so many, not all, but how come, in your opinion, so many dads suck?
Because too many people listen to their wives. Oh, you're going to delete that, aren't you?
Whoa. I don't know if that was good to say. That's now floating toward Mars.
No.
I know you're joking.
It's I've seen a meme, and it's showing, a dad's brain. Dad brain is what we outward project. I'm fine. And then dad brain, what it really truly is, I'm stressed. I'm, terrified. I'm, whatever, because we do. I'm one of the worst people about it. I never ask for help. I never show my emotion, but I'm the first one to step up, say, hey, let me help. Let me help. Come to me. Let me be your ears. Let me be your shoulder. And a lot of us as dads, we're terrible about it. We're we're the protector, that we want to take care of our family, we want to take care of our kids, but we don't outward say how we're feeling.
Oh, yeah. Saying I need help. I mean, I grew up in a family where all of the men, uncles, my grandfather, rest his soul, my dad, it was truly, and because I'm a kid, I was born in February of 69, I grew up in the 70s and 80s. There literally is in my family this macho, I remember my dad saying stuff, I'm not trying to have this be daddy issue hour, but, my dad saying, don't cry. Men, how many times have we all heard this, especially of our kind of, probably, you're younger than me, I'm sure, but not 25 years younger than me.
Right.
The old adage, men don't cry, etc. We are the worst.
We are. And honestly, we're breaking ourselves. Because, when you say why do men suck, it's because you do see a lot of that the fathers that aren't involved with their kids and stuff like that. Honestly, I think it's to the point that we push ourselves to break. And then we also don't know how to show that or ask for help again, and we're broken. And so now we just put ourselves in a corner and separate ourselves from whatever, being our kids. And that's one of the hardest things. So, suicide, we've seen skyrocket, and a lot of it is with men. Unfortunately, I just had a good friend of mine take his own life.
I'm sorry.
And, two beautiful little girls. He was a phenomenal father. Phenomenal. Loved his kids. But something hit. And it's just like, we're just stack it up. And so it's, one thing I push really hard when I push with other guys, with their dads, is being the husband. I push really hard. Actually, I did a post this morning. Date your wives. It's okay to go to bed angry. Talk about everything. Talk about your emotion. Talk about how you feel. And so, again, because being a good dad is also being a good husband. And if you and your spouse aren't getting along, guess what? It's pretty hard to be a good father.
Yeah. His name is Brad Langerak, and he is the vice president of Dads of Castle Rock. You can find information about them on Facebook. It is a 501c3. It is not simply we are dads, like the Dads on Duty, out of Shreveport, Louisiana, we focused on earlier in the year. This is not just and I'm not saying they are just, but the big kind of push for them was school safety,
That's
right?
correct.
As a father, I could not imagine getting that call, or excuse me, most likely a text from one of my kids, and they're both in one just finished college and one is going to a sophomore year. I couldn't imagine getting that text, and I'm, we got an active shooter. We're on lockdown. I hope to God you never received that as a dad, but I know that you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And my wife's also a teacher, so
Bless her.
Every time something like this happens, trust me, it hits me. And so we have, there's a lot of spin outs from Dads of Castle Rock because we have created this big community of people. We just recently started one. And it wasn't us that started it. Somebody else came to a lot of us, and a lot of us are in it, about what do we got to do to help keep our kids safe, school safety, kid safety, stuff like that. So there's groups that are spinning out. We have a Sober Dads that spun out of this thing, a lot of veteran dad stuff. So we've got some other groups that have spun out, which has been fantastic. So people have other places, other resources. Going back to what we were talking about, dads terrible at asking for help. So let's do a Sober Dads. That's all we talk about. It's just like an AA group, mini A group for dads that needs that. So we are looking at doing that with basically a group of individuals that are going to band together to make sure our schools are safe.
Mm-hmm. Let's get to, I want to play you this. And again, I know we both are going to be on the same page, but I want you to hear this. This was from earlier this afternoon on Capitol Hill. This is a mother who lost her child in Uvalde, Texas.
I'm a reporter, a student, a mom, a runner. I've read to my children since they were in the womb. My husband is a law enforcement officer, an Iraq war veteran. He loves fishing and our babies. Somewhere out there, there's a mom listening to our testimony, thinking, I can't even imagine their pain, not knowing that our reality will one day be hers, unless we act now.
Our differences should make us curious, not angry. At the end of the day, I bleed, you bleed. We are all human. That awful day that will now be a part of the history books, hopefully. Let us not forget to add that horrific day to the curriculum that we teach our children. Guns. The 18-year-old terrorist who stormed into my community armed with an AR-15, killing 10 people and injuring 3 others, received a shotgun from his parents for his 16th birthday. For Zaire's 16th birthday, I bought him a few video games, some headphones, a pizza, and a cake. We are not the same.
That mother, her son injured in the Buffalo massacre at the supermarket about 3 weeks ago. The first woman you heard lost her daughter in Uvalde, Texas. We all agree, right, Brad, that something needs to be done. And I think, again, just a commendation to you guys and a tip of the cap, because among the many plates that are spinning around, say, Dads of Castle Rock right now, school safety, the fact that there's nothing more important, you listed it off, it's family first. It's family first for me. I wish it were, for more people out there, but school safety is one of them. I just can't imagine that we still live in a society where our schools and our most precious resources, those kids, they're not in the safest of environments right now. No. Don't want to go political, but this is all part of being a dad or a mom today.
It is, and unfortunately, you have to think about that. And honestly, I talked to my 14-year-old about this. I'd hate to be a kid in this environment
right now,
period, as it is. I mean, just adding in social media, and she's cute, believe me, she loves her social media and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And she's limited what she can be on, but she has it, and it makes it so much harder to be a kid. They're forced to grow up faster. They see things that they shouldn't be seeing. They're hearing things, so they don't have the maturity to handle what they're actually getting thrown at them, but they have no choice. So they're already making it hard. And so I kind of talked about my childhood, and she's like, honestly, I'd rather have that. Just that more simplistic, more, the highlight was, going outside. The fear wasn't, my parents going to catch me on whatever I'm not supposed to be on my phone. It was not walking in the door by 5 o'clock for dinner.
I mean, were you one of those kids probably that, like in the summer, for example, I knew to come home and I knew when those street lights came on, if I was still out, and I know this sounds like old dad radio, right? But literally, if I was out and that street light came on, I knew I was late.
Amen. Yeah, absolutely. And you knew there was going to be consequences.
Right.
And I think, honestly, that's a big problem with parenting today, too, is that there was really not much consequences for actions. And, we see that as kids are growing up because there's no respect for authority right now. And so I think the consequence on an action, and it's hard, trust me. I mean, my beautiful little girl looks me in the eyes with tears in her eyes.
Come on, Daddy.
Yeah, don't take away my phone. It's like, well, dude, there has to be.
Right.
And so I'll actually put her in my position. It's like, what would you do? Fine, you give me a suggestion of how we should punish you, and actually eventually she'll see my side. She goes, yeah, you're right.
Do you actually call her dude? I'm kidding.
No, okay, I have, yes. And she'll call me bro.
Bro.
I'm like, dude, I'm not your bro.
Yeah, no, yeah. Do you think, I'm glad you brought that up. Do you think that part of, look, there are great parents out there. I consider myself one of them. I can tell you right now, if somebody asked me, you think that Brad guy's a great dad? I'd say, I do. But you bring up something that's interesting that, maybe one of the big problems is people either, there's no manual to know how to parent, so we get it through our family tree for the most part, but parents today want to be their kids' best friend, BFFs forever.
Yep. And, no rules. Even right down for the working, my 14-year-old just started her first job. My 16-year-old works 2 jobs. And it's, they have cars to pay for, they have college to pay for. I'm going to help.
Sure, I get it.
I'm going to help.
But there's some responsibility being developed.
They got skin in the game. It's, my 16-year-old just realized that she needs two new tires. It's like, well,
it ain't free.
It's not free. And hitting Starbucks every single day and buying new clothes every single week, yes, you earned it because you work, but hey, you got to throw a couple bucks in the bank just in case. And I've been telling her for a while, so now she's like, crap. So she's, how much is this going to be? I'm like, we'll trust me. I've got connections through Dads of Castle Rock, of course. We'll get you some good tires for a good deal. So
we're going to take our final break of the hour. Our guest is Brad Langerak, and he is the vice president of Dads of Castle Rock. I want to have you on again, and I'm excited because I'm just getting to know you guys for the first time, but I can certainly see the potential. So I definitely want to, as best I can, follow your guys' journey. Let me ask, before we take a break, is there a part of the entire kind of entity of Dads of Castle Rock that you and I think 14 others or so, have you been surprised at the reaction? And I'm sure there's always somebody that's going to complain about something, but it sounds like overwhelmingly, like everybody's getting on board with you guys. Does that surprise you in a good way?
It does, yeah. We talked about this, I said in the beginning, biggest part of our success is our community. Castle Rock, the rally behind us, the fact that we've raised nearly $300,000 since inception, just blown away. So we did the Marshall Fire, going back, I did say we stay in Castle Rock, but we did support the Marshall Fire, and our outpouring that we had with that was absolutely insane. We filled 4 semi-trucks with 24-hour notice. The day of the fire, we said, we're taking collections in the back of Sam's Club, and we had cars lined up over a mile for 4 hours straight. And we bought out Sam's Club, the community bought out Sam's Club.
That's stepping up.
It was absolutely unreal. We were sending caravans of vehicles up to drop off goods. And then we actually had more that came back. So then we had to hurry up, and the Douglas County Fairgrounds opened up a barn for us to put extra goods in. And then we were able to outpour to food pantries and other families in need. We had a family that lost their home into a fire. A couple days later, we were able to get them taken care of, and then fill food pantries and churches and all that kind of stuff. So, but again, what the community did, crazy.
Yeah.
Just blows my mind.
It's kind of going back to not Mayberry, because we're not old enough for that, right?
Not quite there yet. Yeah.
Let me tell you, they were onto something back then.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, absolutely. And, Castle Rock keeps that small town feel. We are growing. We're 80,000 now. They said we're going to cap about 150,000. So we're growing. And, some folks don't like that, but, it's just, it is what it is. And, yeah, there's something down the water down there that people love, and I'm one of them. And it's outstanding.
Well, you guys are community assets.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I mean it. We'll be back with our final segment with Brad. Again, Dads of Castle Rock right now on Facebook, and we'll put out a link. And once they get their website up, we'll certainly share that with you as well. Let's take a news update right now. We're back with our final segment, Dads of Castle Rock. Are you inspired yet, dads? We're going to shame and guilt you by the end of this hour. Start one and get in touch with Brad and the men involved in Dads of Castle Rock, and start one in your community. You should, because we need to step up. Let's take the break now, 710 KNUS.
News Talk 710, Update.
We reached a high of 82 degrees. The 7-10 5-day forecast is coming up. Governor Ron DeSantis is speaking out on school safety in Florida.
We wanted to make sure that we were providing the resources necessary so that these are not going to be good places to go. If you're one of these nut jobs, just know if you try that, you're going to end up on your ass, and it's not going to end up being pretty, and you're not going to walk out of there alive.
The comments came a day after Governor DeSantis signed legislation that makes changes to school safety measures. This report is sponsored by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn's Colitis Foundation. Attorney General Merrick Garland says threats of violence and actual violence against Supreme Court justices strike at the heart of our democracy. He added they will not be tolerated after an armed man was arrested near the home of Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh. This comes as a report says the National Guard will be deployed in and around Washington, D.C. soon to deal with potential violence surrounding the court's pending decision on abortion. On Wall Street today at the closing bell, the Dow fell by 269 points to 32,910. The S&P dropped 45 points to 4115, while the Nasdaq lost almost 89 points to 1286. Don't forget to wake up tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock with George Brockler on The George Brockler Show from 6 to 10 only on News Talk 710 KNUS.
Highway Drive getting heavier for us. Did have a crash northbound I-25 up near Lincoln Broadway. Sounds like that has just been cleared. All lanes open. Going to find a busy drive, though, northbound I-25 from Evans as you head on up into downtown. Off highway, there's an injury crash causing a delay, 120th and Havana. I'm Susan Phelan.
This report is sponsored by Unbound.org. A girl in Kenya dreams of becoming a doctor. An elder in Guatemala dreams of being part of a community. Reach out and change their world, and it will change your own. Unbound.org.
The 7-10 5-day forecast. Temperatures will be in the 50s tonight under partly cloudy skies. Should be a quiet evening and a quiet night. Partly cloudy, warmer, upper 80s Thursday. A few isolated to widely scattered late-day thunderstorms, upper 50s Thursday night. Sunny warm, upper 80s Friday, 80s and low 90s through the weekend. Quite warm with isolated thunderstorms. Weather brought to you by Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Now with a 2% option. Pay less, keep more. ColoradoFlatFeeRealty.com. Meteorologist on tape, 710 KNUS.
Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Colorado Flat Fee Realty.
In today's active real estate market, don't pay too much to sell your house. Colorado Flat Fee Realty is now offering a 2% option. If you were selling a $500,000 house, the agent typically charges you 6%. That's $30,000 for just a few days of work. Colorado Flat Fee Realty has a much better way. On that same $500,000 sale, you would save thousands with Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Now with a 2% option, why would you list your house with anyone else? Pay less, keep more. Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Call 303-300-9660 to find out more. 303-300-9660 or visit ColoradoFlatFeeRealty.com. Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Now with a 2% option. Pay less, keep more. ColoradoFlatFeeRealty.com.
Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Pay less, keep more, save thousands.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're speaking another language, like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Hi, I'm Dave Bancroft, president of Veteran Windows and Doors. We are a veteran-owned, Denver-based window and door company founded on Marine Corps values of integrity, knowledge, and dependability. Offering the same high-end products as the national companies, we take an educational approach to increasing the comfort and value of your home without high-pressure sales and markups. Call today for a free in-home consultation at 303-529-0720 or visit us at veteranwindowsdoors.com. We look forward to working with you.
I'm Mason County Clerk Tina Peters. Don't you think Colorado deserves more transparency in our elections? I'm running to be your Secretary of State to make that happen. Did you know the first stop for new businesses is the Secretary of State's office? But Jenna Griswold closed Colorado 2 years ago, and we're still closed. I'll reopen the Secretary of State's offices and welcome new entrepreneurs. Vote Tina Peters. Let's reopen Colorado together.
Paid for by the committee to elect Tina Peters, a registered agent, Sharona Bishop.
News Talk 710, KNUS.
Listen live on Odyssey.
News Talk 710, KNUS. Now, back to Steffan Tubbs. News Talk 710, KNUS.
Ten minutes away from 5 o'clock. We'll have more kind of recapping day 2 of the headlines coming out of Capitol Hill, this time dealing with gun violence. As later on, if not already, they are debating another round of pieces of legislation on gun violence in Washington, D.C. Our guest this hour, and I greatly appreciate as a small business owner, his time for an hour, Brad Langerak. He is the vice president of Dads of Castle Rock. You're having a big blood drive, but I think you guys have made a major mistake. You've said that no one from Centennial is allowed to donate blood. That's terrible.
Well, there's something in their blood, so it's kind of a little icky. I don't know. So we'll. It's not as good as Castle Rock blood, but we'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, you're still in the same state.
That's true.
Yeah, but seriously, you got coming up June 27th at the Douglas County Fairgrounds, sponsored by Dads of Castle Rock. You only have 13 spots left. I want to first give me the details, and if somebody wants to sign up, and then what does that tell you?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's 13 of 144 spots. So apparently it's
You're almost sold out.
We're almost sold out. It's we had what we're being told is this is the largest blood drive in the state of Colorado that they've had, and that every single person that I'm not going to call them that they are because I'm not going to be able to pronounce
That's okay.
Phlebotomist or whatever.
The people that draw the blood.
Yeah, the people that draw the blood, the bloodsuckers.
Yeah.
So they're going to have every single one of them down there working this event, because we're going to have that many people in. So you basically go on. I sent you the link. So you go on.
Yeah,
and
put it out there.
Yep. You just pick your day, pick your time. Well, I'm sorry, it's all the same day. You pick your time that you want to come down there, and you give a window, and you pop down there, give blood.
So what does that tell you? Whether it is a blood drive that out of 144 spots, you only have 13 remaining. What does it tell you about a Halloween trunk or treat during COVID, where you had to go buy how many dollars worth of candy extra?
About another 2,000. So everybody came and brought their own candy, and then we ran out because we had so many people come that we had to spend another $2,000 in candy.
So what does that tell you? This community has embraced you.
I think the community's embraced us. Yeah, they accepted us as the idiots that we are, and know where our heart lies.
Let me ask you about the cooperation. You've touched on it a couple of times this hour, but the cooperation and the acceptance. But for example, Castle Rock Police, Douglas County Sheriffs. It's nice to probably have, if it's not an official endorsement, nice to know that they know that you guys are existing and what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if it's going to get me out of a ticket or not, but
it could with that hat.
Yeah. Hey, Pee Wee, I don't know if you're listening, but hey, if you see me ripping down the highway, just let me go.
Yeah. But what does that tell you? About the law enforcement angle?
We'd love our law enforcement down there. They're absolutely outstanding. Actually, one of the events that we did, we raised money. Officer Dan Bright was hurt in the line of duty, is in a chair, and so we're actually building a camper for him. We raised money to take just a regular box trailer and outfit it to be a camper, so he can take his family camping and use his track chair that he utilizes outdoors in that camper. So that's one of the things that we're doing.
Awesome. Again, the Facebook page, Dads of Castle Rock, and when the website is up again, we'll pass that along to you. Let me ask you in the last couple of minutes, and once again, I'm being very genuine. I try to be with everybody. If I didn't like you, I wouldn't say this. Please let us help in whatever way we can. In the remaining moments, couple of minutes or so, two-part question. The first will be your message right now to a dad who, and I'm not even being funny, there is the possibility, you never know, but there's a possibility that a dad has listened to you over the last hour and thought, you know what? Even in that smallest back of his mind, and he's never going to share it with anybody on the planet, right? But he says, I could be a better dad. What do you say to that type of dad?
You know, a lot of it's self-reflection. You know, if you can say that to yourself, if you're married still, say it to your wife. Say it to your kids. I mean, I have a very open, honest relationship with my kids, and I make mistakes. I mean, I have an older son. Obviously, I was able to practice with him, but holy crap, it's different than girls. I make mistakes regularly, and I will own it with my kids. Like, man, I messed up here. And, you know, we talk it through. But the first thing you can do is obviously if you can come up to that, and then find somebody that you see maybe is a good dad. And what are you doing? I've had dads, other dads reach out to me. What do you do in this situation? You know, hey, I've seen how you interact with your kids. How are you doing this? What are you doing here? You know, that's one of the best things about Dads of Castle Rock is it's a network of dads. And this is why we only let dads in. This is why we joke around what happens to dads stays in dads. This is why there's no...
There's actually that phrase that goes around.
There is actually that phrase that goes around. That's why the joint accounts are not allowed. Because, again, some things that go onto the page is, man, I'm struggling in my marriage. Man, I have an issue with my kid. We want to keep that inside. You know, and a lot of times people will break off and talk.
Yeah.
We've had guys that literally put notes on there that it seems like they're going to take their own lives. And they'll put that on our page. And it's like, we'll have a flood of guys that go reach out. Yeah. And
response.
In response, yeah. So it's an amazing networking, not only in a mental capacity, personal capacity, but also business capacity. A lot of us are business owners, and we all support each other. So, and even outside of, there's 20 different Facebook pages for Castle Rock. And somebody will say, hey, who's our plumber? You know, now you have 2,000.
You got a sprinkler guy.
Sprinkler, yeah.
You do?
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
we do.
Even if I live in Centennial?
Even if you live in Centennial, yeah.
Still love you, Castle Rock. Let me ask you as we wrap up, and again, I want to have you back. The fact is there is no manual. We talked about that. The fact is that not every family, name me a perfect family and I'll probably in a heartbeat find how, well, most people would say, no, that's not a perfect family.
Right.
But at the same time, there is nothing to me like being a dad. Nothing.
Yeah.
What is it for you ahead of Father's Day? What's your favorite part of being a dad?
You know, just watching those little successes. You know, again, I'm blessed that I have an older son that, you know, he's a great kid. He lives in Michigan now. You know, everybody called him an old soul, and just watch him grow and watch him become the man that he is. And then with the girls, you know, and, you know, one thing I always tell them is, you know, I don't want to put, and you guys can't see this on the radio, but my bumpers are 3-4 inches apart. I want them a foot apart. They're going to make mistakes. Let them stumble and fall. Let them learn from those mistakes. But our job as a dad is to make sure those bumpers are in place of the big mistakes. Let's stop those big mistakes.
Don't let them fall off the cliff alone.
Amen. Yeah, because those are the ones that are going to affect them a lot more years down the road. So that's what, you know, I tell my girls all the time, you know, it's right here. But yeah, I mean, being a dad is amazing. I mean, it's just, both my girls play volleyball, so going to watch them play volleyball.
Nothing like it.
It is, man. It's you know, it's watching them play and prosper and, you know, be successful. It's fun.
You're the man. Happy Father's Day to you ahead of time.
Well. Yeah.
Thank you, and we'll have you back. Dads of Castle Rock. We'll get all the information out on our social media. Brad Langerak, Vice President. Dads of Castle Rock. Don't suck. Be a great dad. 5 o'clock hour is next.
Hey everybody, Mike Bull, host of the Restaurant Shows. Have you heard about Joyce's Famous Pizza, 2120 South Broadway at Evans? She was robbed recently. Broke in, busted up her doors, busted up some of her equipment, took the money. And you know what? This is one of the nicest people you will ever meet, a small independent businesswoman. I called her up and I said, you know what, I'm going to broadcast there this Saturday from 3 o'clock until 5 o'clock. We're going to have an unbelievable special, and it'll help her get back on her feet. Check it out on my website at mikeboyle.com. But I'll see you this Saturday for the Restaurant Show at Joyce's Famous Pizza.
I'm Joe O'Day, and I approve this message.
This message paid for by Joe O'Day for Senate. Joe O'Day, a construction CEO and conservative running for U.S. Senate. O'Day will take the fight to Joe Biden on inflation, the border, and reckless spending. Joe's primary opponent is Representative Ron Hanks. The real Ron Hanks is just another politician. Ron Hanks ran for Congress in California under a different name, Lauren Hanks. In California, Lauren Hanks opposed a constitutional amendment imposing term limits on members of Congress and said state workers should be allowed to unionize. But in Colorado, Hanks changed his mind. Back in California, Lauren Hanks said abortion should be allowed in cases when a medical expert says so. But as a candidate in Colorado, Hanks says he opposes abortion in all cases, even to save a mother's life. Ron Hanks has changed a lot more than just his name. The real Ron Hanks is a politician blowing in the wind. Visit therealronhanks.com to learn more.
Hey everybody, Mark Davis for Advantage Gold. Investing and protecting your retirement is a real challenge these days. Raging inflation and the hyper-volatile stock market. You don't have to sit and watch it all unfold. Thousands of retirees are safeguarding their retirements with physical precious metals like gold and silver inside their IRAs and 401ks. One company I trust for this, Advantage Gold, the #1 highest rated gold company on TrustLink 7 years in a row. For a free gold IRA investment kit, call Advantage Gold, 800-741-4653. Call 800-741-GOLD. Don't sit idly by while the stock market and inflation destroy your retirement savings. For a free gold IRA investment kit, call 800-741-4653. They'll answer all your questions, including if your current retirement account qualifies. Call 800-741-4653. Find out how easy it is to put precious metals in your IRA or 401k. Call 800-741-GOLD.
Advantage Gold is not an investment advisor or a tax advisor. Consult your investment professional before investing.
Hi, it's Peter Boyles for The Butchery in Arvada. The Butchery, the return of the classic Colorado steakhouse that made Denver famous. There's a twist, serving the finest steaks, chops, and the freshest seafood. The Butchery only serves Angus beef, the finest and best USDA prime beef on the market, or try the bourbon barrel salmon or the juicy Colorado bison ribeye and add the lobster mac and cheese for any entree. The Butchery, my kind of steakhouse. Make your reservations now by going to thebutcheryarvada.com.
KNUS Denver, a Salem Media Group station.
Hi, this is George Brockler. Join me weekday mornings from 6 to 10 a.m. only on News Talk 710, KNUS Denver's local talk leader.
Try to drive along the highways. One trouble spot, I-25. Did have a crash north on I-25 near Lincoln Broadway. That is gone. North on I-25, you're running heavy from Lincoln Broadway up to I-70. Speeds are single digits and teens. Crash off Highway 120th and Havana. I'm Susan Phelan.
This report is sponsored by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org.
Denver's local talk leader. News Talk 710 KNUS. The news now.
It's 82 degrees. That's our high today. We have the 710 5-day forecast coming up at 5 o'clock. Nearly 75% of Americans support raising the minimum age to buy a gun to 21 years old. Quinnipiac released a poll following recent mass shootings in New York and Texas. President Biden says Tuesday's primary results show voters want more to be done about crime. San Francisco voters recalled a progressive DA over fears he pushed criminal reform over the safety of residents. Hey, if you're going to do it right, or don't bother. Call Done Right for kitchens, baths, counters and floors, and even replacement windows and doors. 800-362-8370 or drhi.com. The Biden administration plans to address overcrowding at the border by sending migrants to cities deeper inside the U.S. instead of sending them back home. Well, what some people would say under the file of two guys who aren't funny anymore. President Biden makes his first in-person late-night talk show appearance on Jimmy Kimmel Live tonight. Wall Street, at the closing bell, the Dow fell 269 points to 32,910. The S&P dropped nearly 45 points to 4115. The NASDAQ lost about 89 points to 1286. George Brockler tomorrow morning at 6 every weekday morning right here.
The 710 5-day forecast. Temperatures will be in the 50s tonight under partly cloudy skies. Should be a quiet evening and a quiet night. Partly cloudy, warmer, upper 80s Thursday. A few isolated to widely scattered late-day thunderstorms, upper 50s Thursday night. Sunny warm, upper 80s Friday, 80s and low 90s through the weekend. Quite warm with isolated thunderstorms. Weather brought to you by Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Now with a 2% option. Pay less, keep more. ColoradoFlatFeeRealty.com. Meteorologist on tape, 710 KNUS.
Portions of the following program have been pre-recorded. Now, back to Steffan Tubbs. News Talk 710, KNUS.
For another 2 hours, we're just midway through the program, and Leroy at the controls, Blake back from a little bit of work and / rest and relaxation, looking nice and tan. It is a pleasure to have you wherever you are on the planet Earth. Welcome to our live streaming audience. You can listen to us anywhere. I literally one time, did I ever share this story? If I did, I forget, and please give me grace. I was in Rome for the very first time. Was it in Rome? No, that's not true. It was in Paris at the Louvre. And it's a Sunday, and I wanted to see if I could hear the American Veteran Show. By cracky, I could. So there you go. Even if you take us, even if you half listen on vacation, take us with you via the 710 KNUS app. Of course, you can text the studio that way. Our website, 710knus.com. You can watch us now. Hello, YouTube, as we are simulcast the 710 KNUS YouTube channel. Thank you to Director Crowley. And our number, 303-696-1971. How about those dads of Castle Rock? I think that is absolutely awesome. That, well, it's great timing just ahead of Father's Day later this month. But, you know, how about this? We could, you know how we could easily, I just thought of something. We could make some money. Leroy, we need to make T-shirts. Be a dad, don't suck. I think that is brilliant. Castle Rock dads, take it and run with it. As long as I get a free T-shirt. Extra large, please. But talking about where we are in human civilization, right? Anybody, well, most any man can become a father. Not a lot of them can become a dad. And that is from a great episode many decades ago from MASH. And thank you to my friend Daryl, who is one of the greatest dads on earth. And he shared that with me, an email on September 10th, 2000, the day that my first son was born. Basically, anybody can be a father. Don't suck. We need now more than ever. And I have told you once, I've told you 1,000 times about how I could not have more respect for women. I always say I was raised by a pack of single women. Raised by a single working mom. I'm not trying to be a broken record, but I mean, again, I've eaten the government cheese. I've stood in line for food stamps when some of my first memories on earth. My family tree, we didn't exactly get kissed by Mr. Fortune. And guess what? I sure as hell know I'm not alone. What's that old saying, born with a silver spoon in your mouth? I sure as hell wasn't. Now, my kids, on the other hand, maybe it's not silver, but it's not plastic. How's that? Maybe stainless steel. But don't you always want to, I would hope that you feel the same way I do, whether you're a mom or a dad or a grandparent, I want it to be better for my kids. If I can have anything to do with it, I want their lives to be 10 times better than mine, and I have had a great life. Ups and downs, of course, like that's living. So many of our fellow human beings on the planet, of course, not you and me, but, it is so easy to play the victim. well, I would have done this. I've maybe shared this story as I go down memory lane. And may she rest in peace. One of my favorite aunts of all time, either side, mom or dad's side. My aunt, with some health problems, she died at no more than in her mid-60s. I think she was 64, maybe 65. And I miss her, and she was such a part of my childhood, but she died at a very, very young age. And this is within the past, I don't know, certainly within the past 6 years. I think she passed 6 years ago. And I'm not trying to talk about the dead in a negative way, but my aunt was the epitome of someone who played the victim. Bad marriage, bad divorce, bad son at times, getting into trouble with the law, etc. I just, call me crazy. I think that, yeah, of course, we all potentially someday could face a debilitating disease, something that, they catch hopefully early. Health problems happen to people. I know that firsthand. You probably do as well. But I think if you let that manifest and I know it's easier said than done, but for a lot of people, I think there is a very big connection between your mental state and your physical state. And if your mental state is just total crap and you've played the victim your entire life and you blame everybody else for damn near every single problem in your life and you're physically ailing, that's not a good combo. That's a bad mixture. That's not a good cocktail. But in my particular case with my aunt, rest in peace. She was so incredibly intelligent. She should have been a CEO. She should have been an executive. Instead, she took the bare minimum, maybe made a few wrong choices, but isn't that the case for potentially all of us? Bringing this full circle, that's why I'm so glad that I had a chance to, with you, meet Brad and listen to why they started Dads of Castle Rock. I can just see, hopefully nobody has any screenshots of the stupid dad jokes, and God forbid if there were, something was put up there with bare breasts or something. I mean, then, oh boy, there goes their credibility. Give me a break. We're all, those of us, Matt, we're idiots. A lot of them, we are a lot of us, we are idiots. But at the end of the day, let's step up, dads. Not trying to shame and guilt, but let's step up. Whether that's school safety, whether that's walking the outdoors at the outlets in Castle Rock, whether it's downtown Castle Rock or whatever, and look at the good that's coming out of this. And I'm really glad Brad, as he walked out, took a couple of selfies because it's funny. We dressed almost identical today. As he walked out, I said, I don't mean this. I hope you take this the right way. You know what's great about what you guys are doing, Dads of Castle Rock, is it is so damn simple. I realize that there's machinations and it seems like they've got plates spinning everywhere. But at the end of the day, the premise, wow, dads stepping up. What a novel freaking concept. So I like it. I like the new t-shirt idea. Be a dad, don't suck. I think that would be a huge seller. Let's get to Jay in Wheat Ridge. Jay, welcome and good evening to you. Thanks for the call.
Hi, Steffan.
Hi.
Always appreciate your show. Man.
Thank you, man.
Really good show.
Thank you.
I wanted to tell you a little bit about my wife's life when she grew up.
Sure.
Her mom had a very tough time. Dad disappeared very early on. She later remarried a wonderful man who actually adopted my wife. And as she got old enough to protest everything parents did, she used to tell him she hated him, wished he wasn't around, not her dad, wished her real dad was there. And Mom stepped up. Mom stepped up and said, he didn't have to marry me. He didn't have to adopt you. He doesn't have to care at all what you do.
Mm-hmm.
He cares about you. He takes the best.
I think we're taking a hit on Jay. Let's see if we can, Leroy, let's see if we can put Jay on hold. Damn it. I apologize, friends. I truly apologize. We'll have Jay call back and hopefully we can get him. I think one of the, if I'm hearing Jay correctly, is, and you know what, I think as a society, we don't do this very well, maybe on individual bases, if you will. To parents that aren't connected biologically, you know, stepmom, stepdad. I realize, though, by the way, again, not trying to pee in anybody's Cheerios or give you the woe is me, but it was true. My stepmom was freaking Cruella de Vil. Horrible stepmother. Horrible. What I found later is my dad, who also divorces her, I think I saw her once or twice, and it was just, and I was older. I was probably in my either late teens or early 20s. Everything was fine. But I remember as a child, it was a freaking disaster. I did not like her at all. But what I want to say, we'll bring Jay back on, is to stepmoms and stepdads out there that really get a lot of times the shaft. They don't get the credit. It takes a special individual to come into, and I haven't, well, I guess I did, but, you know, to have, you know, a non-biological in a parent role, but not connected by blood, so to speak, that takes a special individual. So if by chance you're a stepmom or stepdad, I realize not all of you are terrible. I just got I think the short end of the stick. Jay, I don't know if that kind of summarized what you were saying, at least at first. I hope we have you back with a better connection. But, you know, they in your case, your wife's stepfather didn't have to step up and do all the things that he did.
No, he did not. You know what? He actually cared. Had quite a bit of abuse from my wife, ripping on him when he was doing the very best he could. Mm-hmm. And she's looking at him like, you ain't even my dad. Mm-hmm. But
what did that patch up? Did that ever patch up as she got older?
It did. Her mom.
I just
do that.
Yeah.
He only did it because he really did love her.
Mm-hmm. Jay, I got to say goodbye.
She honestly got it.
Yeah, I am beyond mortified and embarrassed, and it should not happen. I am at my wit's end. Leroy, if you could only, well, I guess people can. Hi on YouTube. You could see once again for the second straight day how frustrating it is to have a talk show encouraging you to call and the phone lines, cut it off, please, that it doesn't work. Beyond frustrating. Ugh. Well, have I mentioned lately the Friday Homestretch Film Review, sponsored by our friend Danny Cash, Danny Cash Hot Sauce, DannyCash.com. It is from 1972, just a few years before I got to meet my wicked stepmother. The film is Jeremiah Johnson, one of my favorite all-time memes or GIFs or whatever the kids call it. If you follow us on Twitter at Tubbs Show, you can see it is the pinned tweet. It is Robert Redford, I believe, looking over his left shoulder, smiling, the mountain man that he is. And he just kind of gives a nod. That's our pinned tweet. Anyway, Jeremiah Johnson, starring Robert Redford, Oh the Ginger, sponsored by, I don't know if they have any ginger hot sauce, but it'd be a good tie-in. DannyCash.com brings us the film assignment. So coming up on Friday as we head into the weekend, clips, trivia, and more about 6:40. You can find Danny Cash Hot Sauce online, DannyCash.com, and their store. Go see them if you're in the area of Santa Fe and Hamden. It's technically in the city of Sheridan. They're in the River Point Shopping Center. Dozens and dozens of different kinds of hot sauce and barbecue sauce and seasonings and gift ideas, merchandise. And be sure to tell them that the show that has phone problems told you to show up. From earlier today on Capitol Hill, testimony from parents who have had either their child killed or injured in gun violence. Also, doctors were there. We'll hear from them as well.
To the lawmakers who feel that we do not need stricter gun laws, let me paint a picture for you. My son, Zaire, has a hole in the right side of his neck, 2 on his back, and another on his left leg. caused by an exploding bullet from an AR-15. As I clean his wounds, I can feel pieces of that bullet in his back. Shrapnel will be left inside of his body for the rest of his life. Now I want you to picture that exact scenario for one of your children.
She did not lose a son, but she had a son who was severely injured in the Buffalo massacre at the supermarket. Reading prepared remarks in front of the House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform. This from a doctor in Uvalde, Texas.
I had heard from some of the nurses that there were 2 dead children who had been moved to the surgical area of the hospital. As I made my way there, I prayed that I wouldn't find her. I didn't find Elena. But what I did find was something no prayer will ever relieve. 2 children whose bodies had been pulverized by bullets fired at them, decapitated, whose flesh had been ripped apart, that the only clue as their identities was a blood-splattered cartoon clothes still clinging to them, clinging for life and finding none. I could only hope these 2 bodies were a tragic exception to the list of survivors. But as I waited there with my fellow Uvalde doctors, nurses, first responders, and hospital staff for other casualties we hoped to save, they never arrived. All that remained was the bodies of 17 more children and the 2 teachers who cared for them, who dedicated their careers to nurturing and respecting the awesome potential of every single one, just as we doctors do.
Dr. Roy Guerrero, pediatrician, has lived in Uvalde, Texas his entire life.
We are bleeding out and you are not there. My oath as a doctor means that I signed up to save lives. I do my job. And I guess it turns out that I am here to plead, to beg, to please, please do yours.
He came across his first patient in Uvalde, Texas at the ER. And his first patient was actually the 4th grader, Mia Cerrillo. She's the one that survived and had put her dead friend's blood on her body and played dead. Again, Cerrillo, a 4th grader. More from Dr. Guerrero.
Because I knew that children were the best patients. They accept the situation as it's explained to them. You don't have to coax them into changing their lifestyles in order to get better or plead them to modify their behavior as you do with adults. No matter how hard you try to help an adult, their path to healing is always determined by how willing they are to take action. Adults are stubborn. We're resistant to change, even when the change will make things better for ourselves, but especially when we think we're immune to the fallout. Why else would there have been such little progress made in Congress to stop gun violence? Innocent children all over the country today are dead because laws and policy allows people to buy weapons before they're legally old enough to even buy a pack of beer. They're dead because restrictions have been allowed to lapse. They're dead because there are no rules about where guns are kept, because no one is paying attention to who is buying them. The thing I can't figure out is whether our politicians are failing us out of stubbornness, passivity, or both.
Again, a doctor who saw the aftermath of the carnage in Uvalde, Texas. Once again, I remind you, let's rise above. Let's do it. I'm trying to, and I think it's important. And if you even halfway trust me, hopefully you'll join me. Let's not automatically go to Monday morning quarterbacking and sit on the sidelines, stand on the sidelines, run down the sidelines, and throw darts and rocks and tomatoes at that doctor. Instead, what's your solution? What is your solution? Your solution. We've got a lot of shows still remaining. We've got about a little more than 90 minutes left. We're going to talk about a lot more than just what we've already discussed. In fact, I've got to mention this self-proclaimed progressive idiot who is now looking for another job. And trust me, he probably already has one. But the self-described progressive district attorney of San Francisco. Adios, amigo. Would you like a fresh sourdough roll to go with you as you roll out of the DA's office? Chesa Bodine, Some of you from California may know that sourdough bread, especially in San Francisco. Clam chowder sourdough bowl. Just don't have it at the Embarcadero because you risk being shot by an illegal alien who now, by the way, the murderer of Kate Steinle, proud graduate of my alma mater, Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. Her murderer is now as free and clear as you are, unless by chance you're listening to us from prison. It's sick. I want to talk about the DA because that recall in an incredibly progressive city was actually successful last night. And friends, it was not even close. What I'm trying to say is, would you please, somebody in Denver and Decay, recall Kragatha? Please. There is a lifeguard shortage. Bringing it all back. We've got the horrible gun violence and the massacres, and you've got tomorrow night, the prime time, January 6th commission. I want to talk a little bit about that. But there's a lifeguard shortage. What else can go wrong? I'm kind of kidding. When we come back, an update on a California man who said he wanted to assassinate Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh. I don't know if he's part of Joe Biden's unity agenda, but this man wanted to assassinate Brett Kavanaugh. Do you think he's, say, a member of the NRA and he voted for Donald Trump in November of 2020? I guess anything's possible, but I highly doubt it. So we'll talk about that and what else? There's one other thing. Lee Keltner is in the news today. Not for anything good, and not him personally, but issues surrounding yet another kick in the nuts for those of us that support Lee's family. We had Susan Keltner, his sister, on in the 3 o'clock hour for a few minutes, and it's more insult to injury. This dealing with a judge's decision, comma, pronouns, comma, and a security company that's been around since the 1800s that was, kicked out of Denver. Now it's about to come back. And we'll tell you about that straight ahead. All of this, phone problems and such, I just want to go on vacation. Maybe you do. And in all seriousness, if you've gone through the couple of years of lockdowns, maybe you lost a deposit, maybe they were kind and gave it to you back. Maybe you had to postpone the vacation of your life, or maybe just a great time that you had planned and you couldn't do it because of COVID. Friends, I'm telling you right now, shake the dust off of your arms and legs and start traveling. Highlands Ranch Travel is awesome, and I highly suggest you get with one of their travel specialists. They'd love to meet you in person. For more than 15 years for business and leisure travel, I have used Marcy and her team at Highlands Ranch Travel. And if it is, say, a simple, if you will, weekend, you just want to spend a weekend in Nashville, well, they can give you the do's and don'ts perhaps there. They can help you out. Yeah, you can do it all online, but if you really want to have a spectacular vacation, you can call them. But if you have the bucket list vacation, I'm telling you, I wouldn't trust anybody else. And I certainly, if it's that big of a deal, I wouldn't trust myself booking it online. If you do, good on you. But Highlands Ranch Travel, they can really get you anywhere on the planet. You can have one-of-a-kind experiences they can help you build. You can even sit down and go old school like I do and look at color brochures. Wow, that looks so cool. 24-hour assistance while you're on the road as well. Yeah, you can do it online. I wouldn't, especially for the maybe trip of a lifetime. HRTVL.com. That's HR for Highlands Ranch, TVL for travel, HRTVL.com, or 303-791-2311. And book your appointment. They'd love to meet you. And tell them Steffan sent you once again, HRTVL.com.
So traffic along the I-70 drive, there's a crash on eastbound I-70 right near Vasquez Steel. That is in the right lane. Slow back toward Pecos. That's at least a 15-minute delay there on eastbound 70. And trouble heading east to Boulder. Bad crash at Arapahoe and Eisenhower. I'm Susan Thielen.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores.
Dr. Sebastian Gorka wants to see someone step up.
It's up to prosecutors who don't want elections to be stolen in their counties, in their cities, in their states to do something. But I'm a radio host. It is up to the authorities to arrest these people who broke the law. It's very simple. Somebody has to have a spine and do something about it.
America First with Dr. Sebastian Gorka. Afternoons at 1 on News Talk 710 KNUS.
Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Colorado Flat Fee Realty.
In today's active real estate market, don't pay too much to sell your house. Colorado Flat Fee Realty is now offering a 2% option. If you were selling a $500,000 house, the agent typically charges you 6%. That's $30,000 for just a few days of work. Colorado Flat Fee Realty has a much better way. On that same $500,000 sale, you would save thousands with Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Now with a 2% option, why would you list your house with anyone else? Pay less, keep more. Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Call 303-300-9660 to find out more. 303-300-9660 or visit ColoradoFlatFeeRealty.com. Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Now with a 2% option. Pay less, keep more. ColoradoFlatFeeRealty.com.
Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Pay less, keep more, save thousands.
Guys, stop putting your love life on hold. U.S. Pharmacy has some exciting news. If you've been wanting to try Viagra or Cialis, now's the perfect time. Call today and receive 90 little blue or little yellow pills for only $119 with free shipping. Why order some low-dose sildenafil from one of those subscription services when we can give you what you want now? Call 800-711-6818 and we'll rush your order discreetly packaged to your door. Been thinking about trying Viagra or Cialis? Call U.S. Pharmacy at 800-711-6818 for as little as only $119 for 90 pills. Need your package in a hurry? Call 800-711-6818 and ask about our express shipping option, and we'll rush your order to you as soon as possible. Save money on this little blue or yellow pill you've been wanting to try. Again, 800-711-6818 now. That's 800-711-6818.
This is State Representative Ron Hanks running for U.S. Senate. Everyone deserves a birthday. I am pro-life, my opponent is not, period. Inflation destroys family budgets. Restoring American energy stops inflation. It's time to choose. I'm a 32-year military vet. Stand with me. I'm Ron Hanks. I approve this message.
Keep our schedule full? Seasonal incentives? Oh, yeah. Hi, Dan Cicchini, Done Right Home Improvements. Now is the time to call and save a full 12% off all services for select install dates. 800-362-8370 or drhi.com.
I found hope in the midst of an overwhelming situation.
Alcoholism can affect any family. Are you in an overwhelming situation because of someone else's
generation? You most certainly do. I believe she was 9 years old. After napalm was used in Vietnam, and the little girl who's running naked down the street, down a road. Well, it's 50 years ago today that photo was taken of the girl. And our friend of the program, Steve Futterman, has filed an unbelievably touching and awesome report on what that girl has gone through a little bit in her, well, almost 60 years. And so we're going to have that for you coming up. I will give you a quick sidebar on it, if I forget later this hour, that when I was a correspondent based in Los Angeles, I would go to, look, there are a lot of things that a lot of people go to at the same time, as you know, not just, a house fire. I'm talking from Hollywood stories to, political stories, press conferences, news events, etc. You get to know the people. You get to know the people in the business. And one of the guys, and I only maybe talked with him like literally, and what an idiot I am, probably one time. And we would always, if we did make eye contact, we'd acknowledge each other. The photographer who took that picture of the little girl And I believe he is still clicking away in Los Angeles, but he's brought up in this story by Futterman as well. So we'll have that again 50 years ago today. Sadly, the Party of Unity probably has not made as big a deal about what happened in the last 24 hours in the greater Washington, D.C. area. Did you hear about the one connected with Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh?
The man, Nicholas John Roski from Simi Valley, was arrested outside Justice Kavanaugh's home in Maryland in the early morning hours. Roski, while standing near the justice's house, called 911 emergency, saying he was having suicidal thoughts and had a firearm in his suitcase. According to the FBI affidavit, he told law enforcement he had traveled from California to kill the justice, that he was upset about the leak of the Supreme Court opinion related to abortion rights and the school shooting in Texas and an upcoming gun control case.
We all know there may be a whack job psycho lunatic driving in the lane next to you right now. Later on at King Soopers might be, 3 lanes over. Or that person who always insists on going to the self-checkout. By the way, if that's you, I'm not trying to make a connection. But there are crazy people out there. Do you think the president, did the president issue an official statement? If he has, I has not seen it. We've talked about over the last couple of weeks, maybe even longer, maybe a month. Well, it was post-leak. That case, what is it, Dobbs out of Mississippi? Whatever it is. The news of that and the potential fate of Roe v. Wade is this month. What in God's name are we potentially going to see? At any rate, whatever happens. But what are we going to see potentially in this country if Roe v. Wade? No, not codified. Many are still angry about that. No, if it's overturned. I shudder to think right now, buildings that are standing, windows that are intact, people that are still alive, what may happen in this country. And sorry, friends on the left, not sorry. We certainly all know what side of the aisle, so to speak, will not be out rioting, burning, shooting, breaking, and causing mayhem. Now, don't we? Just keep that in mind. Another story today, and I want to get to, I guess, a little bit more on the Capitol Hill testimony today. But this is much more hyper-local, close to home, but all you got to do is do a Google search and read the stories in depth if you'd like. But we had Susan Keldner, our friend of the program. Her brother Lee was murdered by Matthew Doloff, in your humble host's opinion. Wonder what Doloff and his family are doing for the 4th of July. Probably, no doubt, thanking veterans and happy that they live in the greatest country on earth. Or maybe not. But the word came out today that a judge yesterday, Denver District Court Judge David H. Goldberg, overturned the city of Denver's decision. Remember that Matthew Doloff, technically, I guess, the higher up, he didn't work for Pinkerton, but he kind of did, the security company since the 1800s. Pinkerton's subcontractor was a company named Isborn Security Services. Isborn, or Isborn, whatever it is, did work with Pinkerton, say, the big company. Well, then they hire the lowly Matthew Doloff, who was not licensed as a security guard, a private security guard in the city and county of Denver. So, remember, it was last July, almost a year ago, that the director, who is now gone, the then director of the Department of Excise and Licenses, made a decision last July that the conclusion should be that Matthew Doloff was not properly licensed. He had no business being a security guard in the city and county of Denver. And as such, Pinkerton, you're out of here. Well, with money potentially to be made, despite the fact that Lee Keltner was murdered, what do you think? Pinkerton just took it and smiled and said, all right, thanks, we're going to Pueblo. No, it was still in court. Well, just yesterday, the judge's decision, and the judge overturned the excise and license decision. So Pinkerton, the way I understand it, can come back to the city and county of Denver, dealing yet another blow in what has just been blow after blow and a series of blows to anyone who thinks that Matthew Doloff doesn't exactly quite walk on water. And oh, that poor young man, so scared. I know I'm not alone in that. But listen to this. This is kind of complicated. There was, I guess, the information that the department, the Excise and Licenses Department, relied on various portions of a municipal code to show that Pinkerton should be liable for what happened, and what happened that fateful fall day in 2020 to Lee Keltner. But there were different portions and descriptions of how either a person or an organization was characterized. And this is what the judge says, the way I look at it is basically you kind of didn't dot all I's and cross all T's. Well, listen to this portion. I'll read verbatim from the Channel 7 report. Quote, one part tied to suspension of licenses refers to, quote, his or her, while another part of the code defines gender as using, quote, the masculine females as well as males, firms, associations, and corporate organizations as well as individuals, close quote, meaning that, quote, his would cover all of those people or organizations. Pinkerton had argued, since the Department of Excise and Licenses had used the his or her language, that the decision applied only to natural persons and not a company. Split hairs much? Trust me, I've read it 3 times. I still don't understand it. But it's basically there was nothing to say this could happen because you're a business or an organization. This was to the individual. That's how I read it. So therefore, we're sorry, business or organization, i.e. Pinkerton, we're sorry that you had this happen to you. I'm sure the judge probably didn't say from the bench, welcome back, lifeguard.
Update.
We reached a high of 82 degrees this afternoon. Sunny skies up and down the Front Range. The 7-10 5-day forecast is coming up. Today near Nederland in western Boulder County, one person was seriously injured when a moose attacked him, another person, and a dog. The Colorado Department of Wildlife said the 31-year-old man was hurt badly. They said a female also sustained minor injuries. This report is sponsored by Unbound.org. A girl in Kenya dreams of becoming a doctor. An elder in Guatemala dreams of being part of a community. Reach out and change their world. It will change your own. Unbound.org. The Biden administration plans to address overcrowding at the border by sending migrants to cities deeper inside the U.S. instead of sending them back home. Of course, we've already seen reports, undercover reports, of the administration sending migrants inside the U.S. via unmarked jets. Biden says Tuesday's primary results show voters want more to be done about crime. San Francisco voters recalled a progressive DA over fears that he pushed criminal reform over the safety of residents. On Wall Street at the closing bell, the Dow fell 269 points to 32,910. The S&P dropped nearly 45 points to 4115, while the Nasdaq lost almost 89 points to 1286. Don't forget to wake up with George Brockler weekday mornings right here on News Talk 710 KNUS at 6 in the morning until 10 a.m. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
How is it busy? Got some problems? Eastbound 70 right at Vasquez Steel. That's a crash. That is in the right lane. Jams are back to Federal. That's at least a 25-minute delay there trying to get out to Vasquez Steel. Westbound 6th Avenue before Federal. Stall blocking the center lane. I'm Susan Thielen.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Stores are a new world of possible with innovative tools for small business and remote workers and learners. Explore more at your local Staples store or staplesconnect.com.
The 710 5-day forecast. Temperatures will be in the 50s tonight under partly cloudy skies. Should be a quiet evening and a quiet night. Partly cloudy, warmer, upper 80s Thursday. A few isolated to widely scattered late-day thunderstorms, upper 50s Thursday night. Sunny warm, upper 80s Friday, 80s and low 90s through the weekend. Quite warm with isolated thunderstorms. Weather brought to you by Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Now with a 2% option. Pay less, keep more. ColoradoFlatFeeRealty.com. Meteorologist Don Day, 710 KNUS.
Are you looking for a trusted, experienced, and reliable agent to sell your home? Hi, it's George Brockler, and here's why I love referring Gay Ribble with Empower Home team of Keller Williams Realty DTC. For a while, you've been hearing me talk about Gay Ribble. I've seen her home selling systems and the great customer reviews. Fact is, Gay and her team take care of their customers, and I strongly suggest you call Gay Ribble first. Here's why. Gay already has the buyers, and your home may already be sold. She sells 3 times faster and for an average of $30,500 more when compared to other agents, and she'll guarantee in writing to sell your home at 100% of your asking price, or she'll pay you the difference in cash, just like she did for Andrew in Denver, who was thrilled with Empower Home team's results. Need more proof? Call him today, 833-301-SOLD. That's 833-301-SOLD. Or visit gayhasthebuyers.com. Gay is spelled G-A-Y-E. Hasthebuyers.com. That's gayhasthebuyers.com.
I'm Joe O'Day, and I approve this message.
This message paid for by Joe O'Day for Senate. Joe O'Day, a construction CEO and conservative running for U.S. Senate. O'Day will take the fight to Joe Biden on inflation, the border, and reckless spending. Joe's primary opponent is Representative Ron Hanks. The real Ron Hanks is just another politician. Ron Hanks ran for Congress in California under a different name, Lauren Hanks. In California, Lauren Hanks opposed a constitutional amendment imposing term limits on members of Congress and said state workers should be allowed to unionize. But in Colorado, Hanks changed his mind. Back in California, Lauren Hanks said abortion should be allowed in cases when a medical expert says so. But as a candidate in Colorado, Hanks says he opposes abortion in all cases, even to save a mother's life. Ron Hanks has changed a lot more than just his name. The real Ron Hanks is a politician blowing in the wind. Visit therealronhanks.com to learn more.
Inflation has risen 8.5% this year, the highest level in over 40 years, according to the April 2022 U.S. Inflation Calculator. Will your investments provide you the income you need in retirement? Are you losing purchasing power of your savings to inflation? Call Stuart Willis and the team at Alpha One Tax and Retirement Services for your complimentary retirement tax review. 800-221-4880. 800-221-4880. That's 800-221-4880.
News Talk 710 KNUS.
Listen live on Odyssey.
Now, back to Steffan Tubbs. News Talk 710 KNUS.
of the hour. Coming up next hour, by the way, I want to get into this just because, help me, help you. Let's not talk about the cheapest gas. I want to know from you via social media, phone calls, smoke signals, texts to the studio. Gas prices are high. Don't know if you've heard about that. What's the most you've paid so far? Got one of my friends, Bill. He was in, I don't know if you're listening, Bill. You know I love you, brother. He was in Denver and Decay. And Bill, I think he said he paid in one of his trucks earlier this week, $150 worth of gas. So we'll talk about that in the 6 o'clock hour, our final hour together on this Wednesday. It was 50 years ago today that the girl was captured in Vietnam. We'll talk about that in just a moment. But we've mentioned the spectacle that will be tomorrow, the January 6th Commission CNN story. I had to see what CNN was doing. There's a big headline or subhead. Will there be new information tomorrow night? The answer, yes, at least according to an advisory from the committee released last week. Representative Elise Steffan from New York.
I will tell you, Americans are struggling daily. They are faced with historically high gas prices that have now doubled since Joe Biden took office. Over 70% of our nation's baby formula is out of stock. Homicides are up nearly 50%. Inflation is at a 40-year high, and one of the largest migrant caravans ever is headed to our nation's southern border. And yet House Democrats have no agenda for Americans and no real solutions to the problems that we face on a daily basis. Instead, what are Democrats focused on? They are scrambling to change the headlines, praying that the nation will focus on their partisan witch hunt instead of our pocketbooks. It will not work. Just this week, Nancy Pelosi's illegitimate January 6th committee secretly hired the former president of ABC News to produce these shameless primetime show. This was the same producer that covered up victims of Jeff Epstein. This further solidifies what we have known from day one. This committee is not about seeking the truth. It is a smear campaign against President Donald Trump, against Republican members of Congress, and against Trump voters across this country. This committee is unconstitutional. It is illegitimate. It was not put together according to the rules of the House. It does not serve any true legislative or oversight purpose. And it is not about finding out why Nancy Pelosi left the Capitol so ill-prepared that day. It is designed to punish Nancy Pelosi's political opponents, and it will not prevent another January 6th from happening, and it does nothing to address the numerous crises Americans are suffering from because of Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi's radical far-left agenda. So while Democrats obsess over this illegitimate hearing, House Republicans will be setting the record straight and telling the truth about lame duck Speaker Nancy Pelosi's sham political witch hunt. And most importantly, we will continue to focus on the important issues that matter facing the American people and how to solve the crises that Joe Biden and House Democrats' far-left agenda have created, from the border crisis to the baby formula shortage to inflation to soaring gas prices.
Do I hear an amen? Representative Elise Steffan. Coming up next hour, again, more on gas prices. What's the biggest damage that you've seen on your credit card or whatever? In the meantime, it was 50 years ago today, June 8th, 1972.
Kim Phuc still remembers the moment.
I saw the airplane.
The planes, the bombs, and the explosion.
And I saw 4 bombs landing. Then suddenly, the fire everywhere around me.
It was a napalm attack. Moments later came the iconic picture of the 9-year-old naked and screaming, running down a village road. Do you remember running? Do you remember the pain? Do you remember this fear?
I know that. Yeah, I still remember that moment.
There is actually film of the attack. You can see and hear the planes flying overhead. You can see and hear Kim Phuc running with other children down a road. But it's the single picture frozen in time that's remembered.
I don't want any children suffer like that little girl anymore.
She barely survived, undergoing dozens of surgeries. Even today, there is constant pain.
From that moment, I wanted to dedicate my life to go back to work with my picture for good.
Today, Kim Phuc lives in Toronto. She has 2 children. As for her story of survival, would you have thought 50 years ago you might would even be alive.
I never thought that I would be alive, but I'm so thankful. Yes, I am here.
As I ended my interview with Kim Phuc, I wanted to say something to her in Vietnamese, a phrase that was taught to me years ago, and it seemed perfect for the occasion, because the man who taught me the phrase was Nick Ut, the man who took the famous picture. So Nick, many years ago, Nick taught me a phrase in Vietnamese, which I'm going to say to Kim right now because it's very appropriate. Go de plum. Which means you are beautiful.
I know.
Yeah.
Go there.
Steve Futterman, CBS News.
Kudos to our pal Futterman. What a story in less than 2 minutes. And that photographer, Nick, he's still clicking away in Los Angeles. And when I was there, I'm working alongside a lot of stories with Steve, we'd see Nick, and history right there. Would you believe, friends, as we head toward the 6 o'clock hour, that there's actually, you know what, again, the wall of love, the wall of hate, the wall of sarcasm, the wall of cynicism. I'm actually in a back and forth right now with someone who actually is slamming the dads of Castle Rock. I mean, it just takes all types. I'll update you on that on the other side. The Monday morning quarterbacking. Stay with us.
Hey everybody, Mike Bowl, host of the Restaurant Shows. Have you heard about Joyce's Famous Pizza, 2120 South Broadway at Evans? She was robbed recently. Broke in, busted up her doors, busted up some of her equipment, took the money. And you know what? This is one of the nicest people you will ever meet, a small independent businesswoman. I called her up and I said, you know what? I'm going to broadcast there this Saturday from 3 o'clock until 5 o'clock. We're going to have an unbelievable special, and it'll help her get back on her feet. Check it out on my website at mikeboyle.com. But I'll see you this Saturday for the Restaurant Show at Joyce's Famous Pizza.
Hey, Mike, what are you doing way up on that ladder? You're going to hurt yourself.
Oh, I'm trying to unclog these gutters.
That's smart. I had water damage from my gutters last year. It cost me $10,000.
Wait, $10,000?
Yeah, and from over here, it looks like water's been pouring over your clogged gutters, and it's probably doing real damage to your foundation. You need to do what I did. Get off the ladder and call Leaf Filter.
Yeah, but I need to get these gutters flowing now.
That's why you need to call Leaf Filter. They'll clean and realign your gutters and install their exclusive micro mesh screen system so nothing gets in your gutters except water.
So Leaf Filter protects my house from damage and means no more gutter cleaning for me?
Bingo! Plus, Leaf Filter has an industry-leading lifetime warranty, so your gutters are covered for life.
Thanks, Frank. I'm calling Leaf Filter today.
Don't go another day with your home unprotected. Call 1-844-300-LEAF or go to tryleaffilter.com for your free gutter inspection. Call 1-844-300-LEAF or go to tryleaffilter.com right now for an extra 15% savings. Call 1-844-300-LEAF or go to tryleaffilter.com. That's 1-844-300-LEAF.
Hi, it's Peter Boyles. We're in the most active season of the year right now, but if you have joint pain, you can't live like you want to. Hip pain, knee pain, back pain, shoulder pain, it sucks the fun right out of living. QC Kinetics is helping our listeners get the fun back with advanced regenerative treatments from local medical professionals. Regenerative medicine takes growth factors from healing properties right from your own body, highly concentrated, then puts them back into your aching joints. This exciting in-office, non-surgical treatment can repair and restore damaged tissues in your joints, giving you lasting relief from pain. QC Kinetics is a nation's leader in these cutting-edge, all-natural options, and patient satisfaction reports are incredible. 100 clinics nationwide, including right here in Aurora and Superior. Yes, get real relief, no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. Call QC Kinetics right now. Learn more about regenerative medicine and get a free in-office consultation. 303-900-8986. That's 303-900-8986. 303-900-8986.
This is State Representative Ron Hanks running for U.S. Senate. Everyone deserves a birthday. I am pro-life, my opponent is not, period. Inflation destroys family budgets. Restoring American energy stops inflation. It's time to choose. I'm a 32-year military vet. Stand with me. I'm Ron Hanks. I approve this message.
KNUS Denver, a Salem Media Group station. Now, back to Steffan Tubbs, News Talk 7.
On News Talk 710, KNUS Denver's local talk leader.
Few problems in the drive, slow traffic, eastbound C470 crash at University in the 2 left lanes. There's a wreck jamming eastbound I-70 near Vasquez Steel. Right lane tied up, jammed all the way back to Federal. And a wreck up north, southbound I-25 at 136th Avenue in the left lanes. I'm Susan Thielen.
This report is sponsored by Compassion International.
Earthquakes, hurricanes, and COVID have devastated Haiti, especially for the children. Help rebuild Haiti with Compassion International. Just text the word radio to 97646.
Denver's local talk leader. News Talk 710 KNUS. The news now.
81 degrees right now. We hit a high of 82 this afternoon. It's 6 o'clock, and the 5-day forecast is coming up. At least 4 people are dead after a military aircraft crashed in California's Imperial County this afternoon. A Marine spokesperson confirms the aircraft and Osprey belong to the 3rd Marine Aircraft Wing. This report is sponsored by Allstate. Looking to save money with DriveWise from Allstate? The safer you drive, the more you could save. At Allstate, better protection costs a whole lot less. Visit allstate.com or call an agent for a quote today. As Steffan has discussed today, Pinkerton can once again provide security services in Denver after Judge David Goldberg undid a permanent revocation of the company's city license following the shooting death of Lee Keltner by a Pinkerton guard, of course, hired by 9 News. The House is moving closer to a vote on a package of gun safety measures. It's called the Protecting Our Kids Act and includes things like raising the minimum wage to buy some types of firearms and banning high-capacity ammunition magazines. On Wall Street at the closing bell, the Dow fell by 269 points to 32,910, and the S&P dropped by nearly 45 points. Don't forget, wake up tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. with the George Brockler Show only on News Talk 710 KNUS.
The 710 5-day forecast. Temperatures will be in the 50s tonight under partly cloudy skies. Should be a quiet evening and a quiet night. Partly cloudy, warmer, upper 80s Thursday. A few isolated to widely scattered late-day thunderstorms, upper 50s Thursday night. Sunny warm, upper 80s Friday, 80s and low 90s through the weekend. Quite warm with isolated thunderstorms. Weather brought to you by Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Now with a 2% option. Pay less, keep more. ColoradoFlatFeeRealty.com. Meteorologist Don Day, 710 KNUS.
Portions of the following program have been pre-recorded. A longtime newsman with an opinion, a proud dad, an American, supporter of our veterans and active duty military. Common sense discussion begins now. This is the Steffan Tubbs Show on News Talk 710 KNUS.
Leroy's behind the controls, the effervescent Blake Olson in the newsroom. We're on for just a tooch less than 60 minutes. Glad Blake mentioned the Pinkerton bull story. And speaking of bull, listen, I had exchanged approximately maybe 4 texts back and forth between our guest in the 4 o'clock hour, Brad, with Dads of Castle Rock. I don't know Brad from, well, he looked like Trevor Hoffman. Still does, probably. I don't think he's changed his look. And Brad, if you're listening, I automatically, your values are aligned with mine. I'm proud of what you all are doing. The Dads of Castle Rock. It should be the Dads of Centennial and Thornton and Englewood and Lakewood and Parker and anywhere else. You see, I hold groups and individuals and, I'm so sexist. You're only talking about the Dads of Castle Rock. Okay, moms of Parker, moms of Brush, moms of Bennett. It's okay if we go, oh, here's a group made up of guys, dads, who actually want to make a difference. But his values, their values seem to be aligned with mine. I consider, Brad now a new friend. And trust me, when you're in your nearly damn mid-50s as a male, you don't make a lot of new friends, do you? Really, when you think about it. But to get friends, I think you got to be a friend and thus friendly. Well, why am I starting the hour like this? Because I've been in a very interesting back and forth. And, as I will read you the, I guess, transcript, I just want to make sure that, we're all on the same page. So Brad was with us in the 4 o'clock hour. I would say if you're a dad and you kind of could be better, if you're a great dad, if you are, I love my t-shirt idea. And Brad, it was great. If you haven't heard me talk about it, be a dad. Don't suck. How about that? I love that. But I get a text in about 30 minutes after Brad leaves. Again, it'll be hour number 2 of the podcast, commercial break free. 5:27 p.m. From the 970? Come on. This had all the makings of a text from the 303. But the 970, that makes it even triply more disappointing. Right, Leroy? I mean, that's terrible. Anyhow, from the 970 at 5:27 p.m., so certainly less than an hour ago, I'll read it the way I actually read it, but I didn't know until there was later confirmation. Has Castle Rock Dad's guy ever heard of scouting? Let me repeat. 5:27 p.m. from the 970. Has Castle Rock Dad's guy ever heard of scouting? All right. Maybe I'm misinterpreting. How much can get lost in translation? How much can get lost in voice to text? How much can be lost in fingers to text? So I responded at 5:28. Is that a slam? Question mark. And you'd have to ask them as he, Brad, has left the studio. And then a fairly benign response. Interests align well. So I'm kind of thinking at this point, we're in a break at that point. Is he saying, been there, done that? There's no need for a Dads of Castle Rock because, duh, it's called scouting. But again, I don't know. So then I responded, sorry, again, not sure if that's a warm and fuzzy suggestion or an eye roll slam. Lots can be lost in text. To which I will say, you got to give it to the man or woman. This has got to be a guy. Women do not do this. Women do not text like this. So I am going to take a gigantic leap and say, this is a male. And you're welcome to call in the program if I am misinterpreting text, but I'm not. The text then comes in and I quote, yes, comma, a slam. Why go make a new organization when one already exists? Thank you, Leroy. You're doing exactly what I hope everyone within the sound of my voice is doing, and they get the context between our hour with Dads of Castle Rock. Oh, I don't know, just men stepping up to be better men and fathers. God. Been there, done that. I hope, just like Leroy is, I hope you are shaking your head back and forth. And then one of my least favorite kind of things that happen on the wall of love. Occasionally it happens. Well, it happens a lot on social media, but occasionally it happens on our phone lines. An order. Or maybe more gently, a suggestion, not an order. Then the 970 sends another text, Google Scout Law and Scout Oath. See, it's an order or suggestion or You need to do this, you stupid piece of shit. Anybody would know. What I don't understand about people like this, oh, wait, there's more. But what I don't understand is instead of being of the mindset of let's all pray for a high tide because all the boats will rise. There's going to be someone on the sideline. There's going to be someone from the cheap seats. There's going to be somebody who has got to be negative about what is only a positive. Yes, it's human nature, but by God, why? Why does it have to be this way? That a group like Dads of Castle Rock, a 501c3 that is having a blood drive, and over the pandemic, they had the trunk or treats for Halloween. They do this, they do that. They're trying to get a dad who went through a bad divorce some furniture. Why must even one person on the planet decide to go negative? I just fail. My brain and the synapses just do not process how that's possible. I mean, I guess I could see a slam if, and by the way, this is nothing of what Brad told us now, is it? If Dads of Castle Rock, A, you got to be a dad. B, that doesn't mean that you identify as a dad. You actually have a penis. Yeah. But so you have these groups. It'd be different if Brad said, you have to have a penis, you have to live in Castle Rock, and if you did not vote and you cannot prove you voted for Donald Trump, then to hell with you. We're not going to help you. You see, that's 180 from what Dads of Castle Rock is about. So even I'm trying to even give the 970 the benefit of the doubt. So then another one a few minutes later from the 970, quote, USA Swimming and Gymnastics has the same child abuse issues as Boy Scouts of America, but left actively trying to destroy BSA. Let me give my commentary to this. None of this is scripted. This award-winning, I had to take a drink of water there. This Colorado's most popular and entertaining afternoon and evening program. Does this sound to you like a very disgruntled, perhaps Silver Beaver? Maybe a very disgruntled former Boy Scout leader? Or maybe it just all went to hell in a handbasket when he joined the Scouts. 970, if you're still listening, you're more than welcome. Everybody by now who has listened to me, they know kind of your background. So call the show, 303. It's the Boy Scouts are great, Dads of Castle Rock suck hotline, 303-696-1971. Once again, USA Swimming and Gymnastics has the same child abuse issues as Boy Scouts of America, but left actively trying to destroy BSA. I responded, Now remember, this is the first response since he admits that this was a slam against Dads of Castle Rock. I said, easy to throw rocks from the sidelines, eh? Monday morning quarterbacking, so easy. Next text, or you could give them kudos. And so far, no response. So anyway, not trying to isolate you if you missed Brad in the 4 o'clock hour with Dads of Castle Rock, but I fail to understand human nature. I guess I should have paid more attention in Psychology 101 or something like that, but I just fail to understand why somebody can say, what a beautiful day, and others say, no, it's not. 303-696-1971 is our phone number. Welcome to the... See, I'm telling you, this is proof positive. I read the Wall of Love, and I interact as best I can with the Wall of Love. And sometimes it is the wall of either idiocy or lunacy or certainly hate. You can obviously listen live stream. Welcome to our potential global audience listening live via the app or 710knus.com/Steffan. But you see what I mean? And again, I mean, if you're with me, you're with me. If not, you're probably not with us anymore because you changed the station. But I just fail to understand why seemingly such a group that is, I mean, and this is, I hope they take it the right way. This is a benign group when it comes to, and they're making a difference, and I'm all for it. Rah, rah. I am going to put their website out to you when they get it. That'd be my one criticism of Dads of Castle Rock. You all don't have a website yet? Come on. But why? I just fail to see why we live in a world today, yeah, as effed up as it is, et cetera, but that you could take something so positive and just slam it. And besides the, I guess running the risk of giving the 970 a really big ego because I've spent now 10 plus minutes talking about it, I think it's important because I think issues like this need to be discussed. It's like, wait a minute, why the hate, bro? There is a reason why those texts were delivered the way they were to this radio station. So let's peel back. Come in here. Come in here, please. Come in here. Hi, Dr. Tubbs. Nice to meet you. What's your freaking problem? What happened in the Boy Scouts to the 970 what happened? Were you accused of something? Did they look the other way? Are you just a disgruntled silver beaver? Leroy, I'm glad you're laughing, but there really is. And I've known a few silver beavers in my day. And you're a bigwig. Anyway, Carrie in Greeley joins us. Welcome and good evening to you. Thank you.
Hey, Steffan.
Hi.
I'd like to touch base on the gun control thing first.
Yeah, go ahead.
So it kind of surprises me that we're, our education.
Whoa,
our education
that's
system,
not a Chiweenie. Yeah. What is that dog?
It's a Greater Swiss Mountain Dog.
A Greater Swiss Mountain Dog. Well, go ahead and talk. I'm gonna Google Greater Swiss Mountain Dog.
Anyway, they look like a Bernese, but they're short-haired.
Oh, cool.
A little heavier.
What's his or her name?
That's Falcon. It's our puppy.
Oh, how cute! I know these dogs. They're beautiful.
Yeah, she's 10 months old.
Well, no wonder she's speaking out of turn. Anyway, go ahead. We're a family. Listen, Carrie, we're a family show. It's all good.
Sorry about that.
No problem.
Anyway, on the gun control, in our education system right now, it's frustrating to me that we can allow sex, gender, whatever, taught to our kids at such a young age. And in fact, we could also incorporate a gun safety control system into our gun safety control education into our schools. Mm-hmm. And I'm guessing, truth be told, there's a lot of police officers, sheriff's officers, maybe even wildlife officers that would probably go in and be happy to help educate our kids at such a young age.
Well, how about this? How about our veterans?
Yeah.
You want to talk about an untapped resource, I think, in school safety. You know what, Carrie? I'm glad you brought that up because, and I'll give it back to you. But you say something that sparks something in my mind that I don't know if I've mentioned. But you have, and it's not just a group, it's not just a school district. It is a massive wave, sadly, with many, many members. And I'll tell you what, if you had like the ability to have, it's not a yes or no question, but you have two choices. If you went to, I dare say probably millions of people in this country, what would you rather see in your schools? Choice A would be a drag queen story time. Choice B would be armed security. Most of the people, I think, sadly, would pick, I would much rather have drag queen story time. I don't want my kid to be around a cop. They're mean. We need to defund the police. Do you know what I mean? And even if you don't agree with that, I think it's sickening.
I fully agree with that. I think that you could incorporate the police officer. You could incorporate sheriffs. You could incorporate game and fish. You can incorporate all of these facilities that teach technical training. They don't, tactical training is not about teaching somebody how to kill somebody. It's about how to defend yourself. And I'm guessing they would jump on board with that.
Mm-hmm. What do you think of the dads? What do you think of the dads of Castle Rock and the apparently from the 970? Somebody had a very, very bad Boy Scout experience or never felt like he was respected. But again, I just don't understand how people you put a group on like that and you talk positively as we should, because God only knows I talk so much negative because that's sadly what we talk about a lot in talk radio is negativity. But why do people have to try to slam other people like this? I don't even know why they're doing this. It's just so stupid.
Well, I can't speak for the Boy Scouts, but you can never have too many organizations that are guidance for our young.
Amen.
Ever.
Right?
Amen.
Listen, I now know what a Greater Swiss Mountain Dog looks like, all because of your 10-month-old puppy, which probably, how much does that thing eat every day?
Actually, we don't feed them very much because we're breeders. So she actually, as a puppy, she only gets 4 cups of food a day.
Only?
But she gets treats. Yeah, only.
Who's in the background there cackling?
That's my wife.
What's her name?
Cindy.
Cindy, next time. Hi, Cindy. Next time you need to come up on the line too. Your dog's name one more time? Falcon. Carrie, Cindy, and Falcon. I will remember this phone call. And if you can solve the gun issue, please call anytime. Right there on cue. Good, Falcon. Falcon, do you hear me? Falcon, ask for a treat right now. It's live radio. Falcon. All right, guys. God bless
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. See ya. I love live radio. God, do I love live radio. And did you notice? We didn't have to drop the call. Wow! The sun will come out tomorrow. We did not lose that call from NOCO. Thank you. Carrie, Cindy, and Falcon. That was pretty funny. Falcon right on cue. My secret for superior BMW service, I'm a proud BMW driver, and I have been for 19 years. And the first BMW, I've only bought 2. First BMW is the Beater. We call it the Beater. It's the kids' car. Taken that to the garage. And the newer one that I drive, I've taken it to the garage as well just for some service. The garage is made up of guys that know their way around a dealership and how that whole thing works, and they just broke out on their own. They've got the tools, talent, and training to take care of all your vehicle service needs. And note I say all of your vehicles, not just BMW, because they were just going to focus on BMWs. And then they're like, look, we know what we're doing. Let's service all makes and models. Now, if you do drive a Beamer like me, they have the KNUS $99 full synthetic BMW oil change special. It's a terrific value. Small print excludes diesels and M cars. You're going to love dealing with the garage and the team of pros. They take care of all of your service needs, and customer treatment is awesome. Drive in for that $99 KNUS full synthetic BMW oil change special, or for any of your auto service and repair needs. They're just off of Santa Fe and Union in Englewood, or in Parker on Dransfeld, just south of Lincoln. Check them out, bmwrepairexperts.com. That's bmwrepairexperts.com, and tell them Steffan sent you. Let's get to Artis in Aurora, and then we'll take a break for traffic and weather. Hello, friend. It was good to see you last week at the Western Conservative Summit.
Yes. Well, and that's, this whole scout thing, haven't they taken away girls and boys, and it's just scouts? But anyways.
Oh, yeah.
One of the best parts, I thought, of the weekend was the fact that Saturday, sometime in the morning, they made the announcement that the policeman went up to somebody in charge and said they received more thank yous.
Wasn't that awesome?
In those 2 days. Yes. And that gentleman that doesn't want police in the schools because police are scary, he is the problem. we're teaching our
Yep.
kids that.
Yep.
All right, not we,
No, that's
because I don't have children.
No, I
but-
get it. But, I said last hour that do you think that it is, I guess there can be exceptions, but do you think the second, third, fourth grader is going home going, and forgive me here for the theatrics, but Mommy, I saw a guy with a gun and a badge today on campus and I'm scared. Do you really think that the kid's going to say that? Or where is the idea that Officer Bill is an ominous, potentially dangerous individual on campus? That is coming from the adults.
Mm-hmm. And it's just because I never grew up with that thinking. Now, my brother's a cop in Ohio, but that didn't start until just a few years back. I've never been afraid of police.
No. You know what it was, though?
Like when
I got to say, as a kid, as a teenager especially, we would go through, I guess statute of limitations is over, but my first car was a 1971 Ford Pinto. Yeah, my mom said she had fixed the exploding back end, right? I don't know if that ever really happened. We would take that thing and we would find, and we'd go where there probably were some younger drivers, right? And we would harass them, and this is a stick shift. And we would go on what we described as kids as the Pinto chases. We would go through neighborhoods being idiots, running stop signs. I'm not proud of it. It's just stupid. But you know what?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I always had a very healthy respect. I wasn't afraid of the cops, but I had a healthy respect. And I remember the first time I was pulled over for maybe going a little too fast as a teenage driver. I wasn't like, get out of my face, pig. I was like, yes, sir. Yeah. No, sir. Here you go. Please don't write me too fat of a ticket kind of thing. But just look, the disrespect and the lack of respect from really, really young kids, especially, I blame the parents, not the child.
Of course. Because they see how the parents respond to when they see police or when they, and when, something's got to happen in the schools. We can't keep having these school shootings. And these kids, it seems like the ones that have been doing it have had some issues that maybe if somebody had mentioned it, that maybe some psychological help would have made it different. It's scary. But I don't like the fact that we're apparently teaching kids that police are the bad guys.
Nope.
No.
Well, you got to take, and thank you, artists. I appreciate the call as always. And I don't condone any violence. I'm a lover, not a fighter. Never would condone violence. But if you could do one of those, I don't know, shake the baby type things, but don't shake the baby. You would take by the shoulders a guy like Fat Tay and go, you are such an idiot. Or that idiot moron, Sweeney moron on the Boulder Valley School District Board of Education. Just so many. Ugh. Anyway, thank you for tuning in for our first segment. Again, I'm still waiting for the Dads of Castle Rock sucks. Boy Scouts are better. Duh. Hotline to ring at 303-696-1971. I just don't understand after a great hour of talking about, dads that are actually stepping up, that somebody, and I don't care. I don't care. You may be saying, well, God, you're making such a big deal about this. That was one texter. No, that's all I need. If there is just even one person among our radio club that feels that way, that not an attaboy, but oh, you suck, duh, you should have just handed it over to the Boy Scouts. I think it's worth talking about because it's so much more. It's emblematic of how people are today. And even the 970 guy, he has to eat. Get to your local, even if you have to drive south, your local Black Eyed Pea. Tonight's special deep dish. Oh my God, this sounds good. Deep dish chicken pot pie. 9 Colorado locations operated by Mom and Pop Steve and Michelle. Help support Colorado's small business. They made it through the pandemic, serving up great food almost as soon as you sit down. Fresh rolls and cornbread. Oh, you need more butter? No problem. Just ask for it. Get the grilled meatloaf, kind of an off menu thing. Order Mom's meatloaf, get it grilled. You'll thank me later. Grilled salmon is still my go-to. I don't think I've had anything different for the past 6 months. And I don't go to the Black Eyed Pea, but maybe once every month. But they also have great soups and salads, more than 30 different side dishes, including great vegetables. Big fan of their broccoli and and carrots. I mentioned the daily special today. Senior discounts, first responder discounts, as well as military discounts. Save room for dessert. You know you've been you had your interest piqued when I keep talking about the banana pudding. You're doing yourself a disservice. Get the banana pudding. If you're looking for a job, blackeyedpeacolorado.com. I love everything about this restaurant. You will as well. Let them do the cooking for you, and you will have a great experience, whether it's lunch or dinner. blackeyedpeacolorado.com.
Delays in the Highlands Ranch Drive. Crash there, eastbound C470 at University. 2 left lanes are blocked off. Eastbound C470 jams back to Broadway. It's about a 10-minute drive trying to get up past University. Eastbound I-70 slow traffic toward I-25. That was an earlier crash. I'm Susan Phelan.
This report is sponsored by Unbound.org. A girl in Kenya dreams of becoming a doctor. An elder in Guatemala dreams of being part of a community. Reach out and change their world, and it will change your own. Unbound.org.
Dennis Prager explains the left's utopia.
A key to understanding the left is their aversion and fear of pain. The idea that life has pain built in is not something that people on the left have acknowledged. Pain should be abolished, and the abolition of pain creates immense pain.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at 11, right before Sebastian Gorka at 1 on News Talk 710, KNUS.
Dr. Julie McCallan here with Synergenics Denver. June is National Men's Health Month. Did you know that men begin to lose many of their hormones in their 40s and 50s? At Synergenics, we help you restore vigor, confidence, and strength with our personalized clinical strategies that fit your lifestyle so that you can feel great as you age. Whether you are losing productivity at work because of a lack of focus or motivation, or you miss a healthy sexual relationship with your partner, we will create a solution that will put you back on top of your game. My team can help balance your metabolism and hormones. We create a program designed specifically for you to help you focus, become stronger, and feel in control of your life once again. Your progress is followed by laboratory and physical tests that are adjusted over time to keep you on course to get the quality of life and health you desire. Isn't it time to enjoy your life again? Call Synergenics today. Our number is 720-387-3681 or visit our website at denver.synergenics.com. That's denver.synergenics.com.
I'm Joe O'Day, and I approve this message.
This message paid for by Joe O'Day for Senate. Joe O'Day, a construction CEO and conservative running for U.S. Senate. O'Day will take the fight to Joe Biden on inflation, the border, and reckless spending. Joe's primary opponent is Representative Ron Hanks. The real Ron Hanks is just another politician. Ron Hanks ran for Congress in California under a different name, Lauren Hanks. In California, Lauren Hanks opposed a constitutional amendment imposing term limits on members of Congress and said state workers should be allowed to unionize. But in Colorado, Hanks changed his mind. Back in California, Lauren Hanks said abortion should be allowed in cases when a medical expert says so. But as a candidate in Colorado, Hanks says he opposes abortion in all cases, even to save a mother's life. Ron Hanks has changed a lot more than just his name. The real Ron Hanks is a politician blowing in the wind. Visit therealronhanks.com to learn more.
A politician once said, death and taxes may be inevitable, but they shouldn't be related. Our nation's debt is over $30 trillion and counting, and the current tax rates are some of the lowest in history. It doesn't take a wizard to see that a potential tax avalanche could be coming. For those nearing or in retirement, doesn't it make sense to have a tax strategy in place now before taxes take a bite out of your monthly income? Call Stuart Willis and Alpha One Tax and Retirement Services, 800-221-4880, 800-221-4880.
Hi, I'm Dave Bancroft, president of Veteran Windows and Doors. We are a veteran-owned, Denver-based window and door company founded on Marine Corps values of integrity, knowledge, and dependability. Offering the same high-end products as the national companies, we take an educational approach to increasing the comfort and value of your home without high-pressure sales and markups. Call today for a free in-home consultation at 303-529-0720 or visit us at veteranwindowsdoors.com. We look forward to working with you.
News Talk 710, KNUS.
Listen live on Odyssey.
A military aircraft crashes in California. That's coming up on News Talk 710 KNUS.
More than just headlines. This. Now, back to Steffan Tubbs. News Talk 710, KNUS.
p.m. Don't forget George Brockler, 6A. I said yesterday 6A to 9A, and I apologize. That was the old George show on Saturday morning. Now filled by one James Sangenberger. You know him as Jimmy. So George tomorrow, 6A to 10A. And tomorrow is going to be an interesting one because I will, as best I can, try to preview the January 6th, and say it with me, prime time. January 6th commission. Do you think that it is an accident that they're having this at 8 p.m. Eastern time? When's the last hearing you can remember besides something called maybe something to do with an impeachment that was in prime time? They have actually hired, the January 6th commission, the way I understand it, they have hired a former ABC News executive to produce tomorrow. And, of course, when it comes to the January 6th commission and the media, well, who better to trust than CNN? And on the website, there's a subhead, will there be new information? Here's what's listed underneath it. Yes, at least according to an advisory from the committee released last week, which reads in part, the committee will present previously unseen material. Ooh, that sounds like must-see TV. Hey, Schumer, put this baby in prime time. Oh, Nancy Pelosi, she's probably picking out all. She's already got her clothes laid out on the bed like it's the night before the first day of school. And a lot of eyeliner or eyebrow maker or whatever she wears. Anyway, yeah, I guess just a ton of new information. Then another subhead on the CNN article. Please know that I went there knowing that I would find this type of information. What can people expect is the question. And then here's what their little deal is. Committee members have teased that the hearings could be focused on former President Donald Trump's direct role in undermining the election results. You've got to be kidding me. I love how they hang it on committee members have teased. Are you kidding? It's June 8th of 2022. Since January 6th of 2021, CNN's been reporting that as fact. Again, if you're maybe new to the program, if you're wondering my take on January 6th, those idiot far-right lunatics, the guy with the horns, the hairy chest, the dude with the feet up on Pelosi's desk, they don't represent me. Sorry, wacky and extreme. And they ain't my kind of conservative. Do I think that Donald Trump told those people and therefore march down Pennsylvania Avenue and you go kill an officer if you have to, break every window you can, and go get Nancy's desk? No, I don't think President Trump said that either. But I do know this, and I've said this since January 6th, in fact, our live breaking news coverage that day. Donald Trump did not help himself one bit. Please hear me correctly. Once again, my take is Donald Trump did not help himself or do himself any favors during that speech. I guess. Well,
I have spoken.
Let's get to Bruce in Denver, then we will take our final break. Blake's News coming up right around the corner. Bruce, good evening to you.
Good evening. It's an honor to speak with you, Steffan.
Well, I feel the same way for you, Bruce. What's your story?
Are you aware that the Los Angeles City recently voted to pull all the school resource officers out of the schools?
Is that right? I had not heard that. So Los Angeles Unified?
Yes.
Following, I guess, what little brother Colorado has done here. I'm going to Google this. So what's your thought on that? Do you concur with me, or do you see it a different way, that these cops, these school resource officers, are not a hindrance or just a terrifying figure on campus? In fact, they just may save your little Johnny or Julie.
Well, am I a cynical conspiracy theorist for believing that there are elements out there that want a school shooting, especially in a predominantly minority school, so that they have more ammo in their gun control fight.
So, of a conspiracy theory that I appreciate you telling us that maybe it's a conspiracy theory, how much do you believe that? Like, are you 80% sure, 100% sure, 22% sure?
I'd say about 95%.
Whoa, that's high. 95% that this is staged.
Yeah, that by certain elements. Now, the vast number of people that voted for this crap, well, the representatives that voted for this crap probably are into the narrative that the police are scary and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe that there are highly placed elements that want the school shooting to happen so that they have more ammo for their gun control fight.
Now, I'm not trying to paint you in a corner. Please trust me on that. But I appreciate your phone call. Do you think, say, Sandy Hook and the massacre there in Connecticut was fake or staged? That there was the kid was in cahoots. Do you think that, or was it a troubled kid, as we've seen so many times?
Yeah, it was just a troubled kid on psychotropic drugs.
Mm-hmm.
And, there was no security at the school. The one thing that's obvious to me is that unless the security is already in place before the bad guy with the gun shows up, you're inviting a bloodbath.
I would agree with you. I would agree with you on that. Look, these gun-free zones, it has been shown time and again. It's as if there's a faction of the country that, gun-free zone. We have seen time and again that gun-free zones are basically one thing. It's an invitation. Hey, you're not going to find any guns here. Why don't we make it a little bit easier on you? Bruce, I got to give you the last word because I got to get to a break, but go ahead, please.
Yeah, I just, one of my deep regrets is that I wasn't in the Aurora Theater when that shooter came. He had driven past several theaters showing that Batman movie to go to one that had a no-gun sign.
And that about says it all. Bruce, I appreciate the phone call. Thank you. I hope you call again. Thank you very much. And that'll be the final phone call of the program. We'll take more of your calls tomorrow. As he was speaking, I wanted to see, I was unaware that LAUSD, one of the largest school districts, I think the second largest school district in the country, if the Board of Education had voted to eliminate school resource officers, well, I take Bruce's word. I haven't been able to find it yet, but I will say this as we go to the break. Very interesting, isn't it? The headlines and the sound bites and the television breaking news coverage and the radio coverage and what have you, the blogs, the social media. I'm looking at a bunch of stories that date back to a little more than 2 weeks ago, so 15 days ago. 15 days ago was Uvalde and the massacre there. Headline in the LA Times: after Texas shooting, parents demand stronger security. Another one, LAUSD board, what we know so far about security. This one, Berkeley High School mass shooting plot. This one, LAUSD, or LA Unified School District, announces updated safety plans following deadly shooting at Uvalde, Texas Elementary School. Another one in another newspaper, Texas shooting. LA leaders call for stricter gun laws. OC sheriff steps up school presence. I read these different samples to just tell you, isn't it interesting how the media, for the most part, will go along. They love the stories of the defund the police. Good Lord, it sold newspapers, got eyeballs, ears. They love that. But then they almost have the gall to then do stories about, oh, yeah, we loved the defund the police stories of 2020 that kept our fledgling newsroom afloat. But then they're kind of forced after Uvalde 15 days ago, for example, to cover it that, oh, wait, well, we got a bunch of parents that are now saying they want stronger security. Ah, crap. I guess we got to send a reporter to write about that. Ask yourself this question. Those idiots that were marching, doing their little slogans, things that rhymed, defund the police, et cetera, who would they call first if they were privy to, say, a home break-in? Would they call the school nurse? Doubt it. We'll wrap up the program coming up next. I may replay that Futterman piece on the girl. That was just amazing. If you are facing hair loss, the girl being in Vietnam, the naked 9-year-old after a napalm drop, running naked down a road. It's 50 years ago today. Yeah, I'm going to play it. We'll come up next. Stay with us. Do yourself a favor, though, if you are wondering, gosh, can I do anything about the bald spot, receding hairline, or thinning hair? You can set up your free consultation with Advanced Hair Restoration. Your hair loss could be optional. Maybe imagine the relief of having a full head of hair for the first time in decades. I know it's not a laughing matter. Advanced Hair's one-day treatment begins growing in your own natural hair the very next day, and it's backed by their industry-leading guarantee. They can address decades of hair loss in just one day. This is the perfect time for you to do something for yourself. So do yourself a favor and schedule that free consultation right now. If you do move forward, you'll also receive $250 off plus $250 free hair grafts. 720-459-HAIR. It's an incredibly simple process. Making the call is perhaps the hardest part. 720-459-HAIR. That's 720-459-HAIR, or check out the before and after pictures at advancedhair.com.
News Talk 710. Update.
We hit a high of 82 degrees today up and down the Front Range with sunny skies on this Wednesday. The 710 5-day forecast is coming up. At least 4 people are dead after a military aircraft crashed in California's Imperial County this afternoon. The Marine spokesperson confirms the aircraft and Osprey belong to the 3rd Marine Aircraft Wing. The House is moving closer to a vote on a package of gun safety measures. It's called the Protecting Our Kids Act and includes things like raising the minimum age to buy some types of firearms and banning high-capacity ammunition magazines. This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. Long days, longer to-do lists, hire with Indeed. Their hiring platform lets you schedule and conduct virtual interviews all in one place. Learn more at Indeed.com/credit. Well, as Steffan has talked about this afternoon, Pinkerton can once again provide security services in the city after Judge David Goldberg undid a permanent revocation of the company's city license following the shooting death of Lee Keltner by a Pinkerton guard hired by 9 News. On Wall Street at the closing bell, the Dow fell by 269 points to 32,910. The S&P dropped nearly 45 points to 4115, while the Nasdaq lost almost 89 points to 1286. Don't forget to wake up to the George Brockler Show tomorrow morning at 6 until 10, only on News Talk 710 KNUS.
One crash in the drive, Highlands Ranch area, eastbound C470 at University. Left lane blocked off. Eastbound C470 slow from Broadway to University. 5 extra minutes for you to make that drive. That is it for highway problems. Little slowing in that 270 drive and a crash jamming Wadsworth at Hamden. I'm Susan Phelan.
This report is sponsored by Staples Stores. Staples Stores are a new world of possible with innovative tools for small business and remote workers and learners. Explore more at your local Staples store or staplesconnect.com.
The 710 5-day forecast. Temperatures will be in the 50s tonight under partly cloudy skies. Should be a quiet evening and a quiet night. Partly cloudy, warmer, upper 80s Thursday. A few isolated to widely scattered late-day thunderstorms, upper 50s Thursday night. Sunny, warm, upper 80s Friday, 80s and low 90s through the weekend. Quite warm with isolated thunderstorms. Weather brought to you by Colorado Flat Fee Realty. Now with a 2% option. Pay less, keep more. ColoradoFlatFeeRealty.com. Meteorologist on date, 710 KNUS.
Hi, it's Peter Boyles here for my friend David Ellis in Cherry Creek. Now's the time to get a professional appraisal on all the valuables you have tucked away in your home. You could be sitting on a fortune in cash. David Ellis Jewelers pays top dollar for your diamonds, gold, sterling silver, wedding bands, and Rolex watches. You'll get instant cash on the spot. David offers confidential evaluations on precious metals, coins, silver sets, and estate sale jewelry and antique items. This trusted jeweler has been buying precious metals and antiques in Colorado for decades. No obligation, free appraisals, private and confidential. If you're looking to buy a gift for someone special in your life or yourself, the vast, expansive showroom, David Ellis Jewelers, look for the black awning, the corner of 3rd and Clayton and Cherry Creek. Explore online, davidellisjewelry.com. 6 days a week. Call my friend David Ellis, 303-322-8779, 303-322-8779. Online, davidellisjewelry.com. 3rd and Clayton and Cherry Creek. You'll be glad you did.
Hey everybody, Mark Davis for Advantage Gold. Investing and protecting your retirement is a real challenge these days. Raging inflation, the hyper-volatile stock market. You don't have to sit and watch it all unfold. Thousands of retirees are safeguarding their retirements with physical precious metals like gold and silver inside their IRAs and 401ks. One company I trust for this, Advantage Gold, the #1 highest rated gold company on TrustLink 7 years in a row. For a free gold IRA investment kit, call Advantage Gold. 800-741-4653. Call 800-741-GOLD. Don't sit idly by while the stock market and inflation destroy your retirement savings. For a free gold IRA investment kit, call 800-741-4653. They'll answer all your questions, including if your current retirement account qualifies. Call 800-741-4653. Find out how easy it is to put precious metals in your IRA or 401k. Call 800-741-GOLD.
Advantage Gold is not an investment advisor or a tax advisor. Consult your investment professional before investing.
I'm Mesa County Clerk Tina Peters. Don't you think Colorado deserves more transparency in our elections? I'm running to be your Secretary of State to make that happen. Did you know the first stop for new businesses is the Secretary of State's office? But Jenna Griswold closed Colorado 2 years ago, and we're still closed. I'll reopen the Secretary of State's offices and welcome new entrepreneurs. Vote Tina Peters. Let's reopen Colorado together.
Paid for by the committee to elect Tina Peters, a registered agent, Sharona Bishop.
News Talk 710, KNUS.
Listen live on Odyssey.
Now, back to Steffan Tubbs. News Talk 710, KNUS.
Little TNT, AC/DC, one of the greatest bands in human history. We wrap up the program. Again, we'll be back, hopefully. Please, dear Lord, bless us with another day. 3:03 tomorrow. Want to end, I know I played this just about an hour ago. It's that good, I think. Our friend of the program, CBS newsman Steve Futterman. You remember the picture. You can probably see it in your mind. A little terrified, screaming 9-year-old little girl, naked, on a road after napalm and an attack. That was 50 years ago today.
Kim Fook still remembers the moment.
I saw the airplane.
The planes, the bombs, and the explosion.
And I saw 4 bombs landing. Then suddenly, the fire everywhere around me.
It was a napalm attack. Moments later came the iconic picture of the 9-year-old naked and screaming, running down a village road. Do you remember running? Do you remember the pain? Do you remember this fear?
I know that. Yeah, I still remember that moment.
There is actually film of the attack. You can see and hear the planes flying overhead. You can see and hear Kim Fook running with other children down a road. But it's the single picture frozen in time that's remembered.
I don't want any children suffer like that little girl anymore.
She barely survived, undergoing dozens of surgeries. Even today, there is constant pain.
From that moment, I wanted to dedicate my life to go back to work with my picture for good.
Today, Kim Phuc lives in Toronto. She has 2 children. As for her story of survival, would you have thought 50 years ago you would even be alive?
I never thought that I would be alive, but I'm so thankful. Yes, I am here.
As I ended my interview with Kim Phuc, I wanted to say something to her in Vietnamese, a phrase that was taught to me years ago, and it seemed perfect for the occasion, because the man who taught me the phrase was Nick Ut, the man who took the famous picture. So Nick, many years ago, Nick taught me a phrase in Vietnamese, which I'm going to say to Kim right now because it's very appropriate. Go de plum. Which means you are beautiful.
I know.
Yeah.
Go there.
Steve Futterman, CBS News.
Awesome stuff from our friend of the program. And, sometimes we've had some technical difficulties this program. I don't know why, but